Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's time for the final match of Resurrection Cup 2024, the deciding match to crown a champion and the deciding match to decide who goes home without ever tasting victory. It's Fresh Off the Boat versus Kotomiler in the Grand Finals. I'm Dio, and I'll be casting this Grand Finals alongside Taikane.
Hello. Yeah, it's gonna be an exciting one. I had the honor of casting the winners finals match, which was just super exciting between these teams. Went really down to the wire, and I'm excited to see them back facing off against each other once again.
That's going to be a good match. Obviously, that winners finals going the way of Fresh Off the Boat in a very close bout, 7-6 tiebreaker between those two teams. And then, of course, earlier today, Kotomiler beating out Bobik 7-0 in that losers bracket grand finals at 11:30 UTC earlier today. So Kotomiler not giving away too much, and of course some very solid scores from them on quite a few of the maps in the pool. A lot of very high score margins of victory for them. So expecting this to be a relatively close match once again. Again, the winners bracket finals between these teams went to tiebreaker, so this is anyone's match and anyone's tournament right now for these two teams.
Yeah, and even that tiebreaker was insanely close between the teams. The big difference was a seemingly random flying tuna near FC breaking right at the end of the map. Everybody else was around each other's scores, though. It was just that one difference between those teams in that flying tuna score. So it feels like just everything is close, everything is contestable. Just so exciting to see in this grand finals.
And we should be able to get right into the roles and bans for these teams. Full map pool and remaining picks down there at the bottom. Again, this map pool is actually full custom, so if you have not taken a look at the map pool sheet, go ahead and take a look at that now. Obviously, we'll be talking about the maps on stream as they get banned, but for any of those picks that do get banned, go ahead and check them out after the stream is over if you're interested to see any of those customs, especially if they happen to be one of the 4 original songs in Grand Finals.
Yeah, hoping to see those. We didn't see any of them in the previous match, but all of No Mod 1, Hard Rock 2, Free Mod 2, and Tiebreaker are Resurrection Cup original songs. So, fingers crossed that we at least see one of them, because those are truly amazing.
As for team compositions and picks and bans for these two, it's a little tough to tell, I think, exactly where they will want to go. Definitely a very good Hard Rock roster for Fresh Off the Boat. Players like Rectagon, Decaton, Window Life, MCY4, all very good Hard Rock players. But then you, of course, have the likes of Nenarek, Malashevsky, Intercambing, Kriller, Worst HR player on the side of Kotomiler. So he can still put up some pretty good scores on that. Hidden as well is kind of contestable, it feels like. Kriller, Malashevsky, Intercambing, Worst HR player again, all very good hidden players. Tomas Sheik also a good hidden player. Nahus can sub in for some of those, especially stuff like the Hidden One for both of them. And then you have players like, obviously, Rectagon is probably going to be in for most of the maps for the side of Fresh Off the Boat, but players like Caleb, Decaton as well has been grinding the hidden recently. Taquito, obviously, still a very good hidden player, despite speccing into the speed a lot more recently. Flying Tuna, a very good hidden player. MCY4, a very good hidden player. The Nomads, it feels like, are pretty contested between these teams on pretty much all of them. The DT pool as well, you do have very good speed players on both of these teams, and about a pretty even number of those very good speed players. It feels very tough to call exactly which of these teams has an advantage on what sorts of maps in the pool, which I think will make for a pretty interesting match overall. We do see the first ban come out, though, from kotomiler. It is the DT2. Neneric, of course, a very good DT stamina player, but I think the rest of the lobby at that 250 BPM mark for kotomiler might struggle a little bit. Matthew more so good at the finger control, the bursty maps. Malashevsky good on slightly lower BPM stamina, and not really any other huge speed players for the side of kotomiler. Nomad 3, the first ban for Fresh Off the Boat. That is one of the alt maps in the pool. Of course, with a team like Malashevsky, intercamping Kriller, worst HR player on an alt map, that's going to be a tough ask for any team to go up against that lineup.
Yeah, it was kotomiler's first pick in the last match, and for good reason. It is a very, very tech-focused alt map. Absolutely do not want to play that against that team. kotomiler going to go into that Fremont 2 ban. I would say probably the hardest of the speed maps. Kind of following through with that same philosophy as the DT2. They do not want to play the speed against this roster. It is just not a very safe kind of pick to go into.
Yeah, it's a 270 BPM hybrid finger control burst and stream speed map. And yeah, it's CS3. It's, it's not a ridiculously tough on the aim, but the finger control in that is just so tough. So I do understand the ban there from the side of kotomiler. They could have chosen to ban out something like the DT3 instead. There is no rule against double banning from the same mod pool in this tournament. So they could have chosen to ban out from the double time 3, but I think realistically the free mod 2 is the harder of those two speed maps, and so leaving the DT3 open I think makes more sense here for kotomiler.
Absolutely. Last ban coming through, Fresh Off the Boat, getting rid of that hidden Sue. They don't want to play that reading into the kotomiler roster. Absolutely makes sense. You have players like Malashevsky that are going to be doing super, super well on this low AR hidden. Not really worth the risk. There isn't as much aim control that's like Nomad 3 that you really need to focus on banning out. So I do like the kind of shift into the skill set with this ban, trying to cover maybe some grayer areas.
Yeah, that map can be pretty tricky as well, and for Fresh Off the Boat, you do have players like Taquito, Caleb, Flying Tuna, MCY4, but a lot of those players aren't particularly well suited to the low AR. Particularly Taquito, again, has been playing a lot more speed recently rather than the low AR. Flying Tuna has also been grinding the speed as opposed to the low AR recently. MCY4 is a very good aim control tech alt player, but not quite as well versed on low AR. So while there's a lot of players who can play that kind of stuff for Fresh Off the Boat, it does seem a little better for kotomiler with players like Malashevsky, Kriller, worst HR player, who are really, really solid on that low approach rate reading. And instead of the other low approach rate reading map in the pool, in the free mod 3, we are going to be getting the Nomad 5 first pick here for kotomiler. A little stream finger control slider tech hybrid map here.
Yeah, this acid burst map is so weird to describe. Sheer custom of all people. Not the kind of person I expected to see customing in a tournament, especially after all this time just not uploading that much. But you know what? You love to see it. I believe it's technically a tournament debut for sure. Don't think they've done a custom for any other tournament, so it's very, very cool to see.
Yeah, absolutely. Very happy to see Sharon coming in and doing the custom here. We'll see how well both of these teams are able to do on something like this. I do think we're probably going to see players like Malashevsky intercamping Kriller, worst HR player for kotomiler on this, if I had to guess. Maybe we'll see Nahus or Tomas Sheik on this, but very likely to be the four kind of all-rounders for the side of kotomiler. Whereas for Fresh Off the Boat, pretty likely to see Rectigon, Decaton, Taquito, Flying Tuna, maybe MCY4 as well. And let's get switched over to gameplay because we are already into the map.
Yeah, immediately going to see a couple breaks. They're not going to matter too much. Accuracy drops as well. Really just going to matter who can get through this intersection alive. Those cuts so difficult. Going to catch Rectagon off immediately. That's the first big combo drop we're going to see as we get into that slower intro.
And it's actually Neneric, by the way, playing this for kotomiler, so was kind of expecting intercamping, over Neneric, but Neneric coming in for this as the captain. Kriller also finding the drop, though. Decaton and Rectagon have dropped on the opposing side for fresh off the boat, so it's 2 FCs to 2 right now. MCY4 Flying Tuna versus Malashevsky and Worst HR player. Honestly, the people you would expect to be full comboing this in this lobby. For the best tech players on either of these teams, for the best tech players in tournament in the world right now. And still going strong for all of them. Not needing any big act drops on the finger control. Lots and lots of 1/6 in this map, which are about 263 BPM. So can be a little bit of a speed strain for some players. Another break there for Kriller, by the way, is going to give combo lead back over to fresh off the boat. Now it's just Neneric on the recovery combo versus both Decaton and Rectagon for fresh off the boat. kotomiler on the back foot on their first pick.
Yeah, they need to see one of those red breaks come through, but it's once again Kriller. They see the Caden find a break. It's the start of what they need, but it's only going to even up the combo. Neneric breaking isn't going to make things much better, but a trade with Flying Tuna and MCY4 going to put the lead back in their court as far as combo goes. Every single player now on fresh off the boat has broken. Malashevsky and Forum are still FCing into this ending section, and that lead has instantly swapped over to kotomiler.
Yeah, they've got 2 copies of Thanos on the side of kotomiler for this map. Malashevsky does finally drop one of the Infinity Stones, but Worst HR player still with the full gauntlet right now. Closes it out with the FC, the only one in the lobby. Those 2 holding as long as they did, crucial for kotomiler. You look at the supporting scores, and Kriller and Neneric having a bit of a tough time on that map in comparison to Decaton and Rectagon, who are kind of up there, right, with Flying Tuna and MCY4, both dropping 600k. So it's the standout top scores from Malashevsky and Worst HR player doing the heavy lifting here for kotomiler. And that FC from Worst HR player, just the cherry on top for that first pick.
Absolutely. Kind of came down to the wire. There was all that like ending 45 seconds, I'd say, that it really counted. Those crucial breaks from fresh off the boat right at the end. And of course, Forum closing it out with a frankly crazy FC. And it's insane to me that many players were able to hold on to their combos for that long. But either way, it goes the way of kotomiler on their first pick. Feeling fairly safe. We'll see where fresh off the boat goes. They see the speed bands, and I imagine that could immediately signal, hey, let's look at DT3. Let's look at going into the speed. We'll see where the team strategy lands on that.
Yeah, and kind of forgot about it. Went under the radar during the ban phase, but DT4 also a really good shout for fresh off the boat, especially with that mod 2 ban. DT3 has a lot more of an aim component to it. It's kind of a hybrid aim and burst map, whereas DT4 is almost pure speed in the form of finger control burst stream speed. So I think the DT4 probably the best left for fresh off the boat with the double speed bans here from kotomiler, but they're going to save those for later, it seems like, and go with the free mod 1 to start things off. Some awkward aim with When My Devil Rises by Man with a Mission. This one by Eumerios. Some wide angle jumps, some anti-aim jumps, a little bit of pattern aim here and there, but really a lot of the difficulty in this map comes down to the ki times where you get these anti-aim and wide angle 1-2 jumps. So you think of 1-2 jumps as relatively simple farm patterns, not in this map.
Yeah, no, this map is so tough with that aim. Is worth it to note, while it is called free mod, this is actually as force mod. Every player will be forced to take a mod, whether it's hidden or hard rock or flashlight or easy, I guess, though I doubt we're seeing that in grand finals by this point. Meaning that players have to either make that difficult decision of, do we play tough high spacing density on hidden, or do we play with this even tougher aim on hard rock? Of course, at least one player is forced to play each mod, so tough decisions for these teams. Also, noting that this free mod 1 is a huge information pick. Depending on the scores that we see here, teams are going to be informed on, I'd say specifically No Mod 1 and Hidden 1 if they're good picks, as similarly high BPM aim maps.
Yeah, I would have said the one in the Hard Rock one. All of the aim maps in this pool, by the way, are high BPM. 240 BPM No Mod 1, 230 BPM Hidden 1. Hard Rock 1 is 155 BPM, but it's mapped in triplicate, so it plays like it's 233 BPM. And ET1 is 270 BPM, so this is the lowest BPM aim map in the pool at 214 BPM. Not super standard with this being the lowest BPM. Usually you see something a little closer to 200. But I agree, this is a good information pick, especially for the Hidden 1, somewhat for the No Mod 1 as well. It is the most comfortable aim map in the pool, whereas Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1 a little more awkward, similar to this map, in my opinion at least. But we'll see if this works out for Fresh Off the Boat and if they want to continue going into the aim after this pick, depending on the results and where they go from there.
Yeah, see the mods coming through. It's Rectagon and Inner Camping on the Hard Rocks for their teams. Everybody else in the lobby on Hidden. So keep an eye on the Hard Rock players. Rectagon is fine an early break. Not going to matter too much. Of course, we are in a point of the map where we're about to see some breaks, I imagine, as we approach closer to the Ki. We do see Nahu's break trading off that earlier Hard Rock break. Score's dead even.
And there's another couple of breaks actually for Taquito and MCY4. That score going to start to go the way of Kotomiler in a big way here. Malashevsky intercambing worst HR player. The Hidden for Malashevsky, Nahus, and worst HR player. Hard Rock finally dropping there is intercambing. It's just the Hidden FC for Flying Tuna on the side of Fresh Off the Boat, though. MCY4, Taquito both having broken. MCY4 finding another break. There goes Malashevsky on one of those FCs remaining for Kotomiler, though. So now it's just worst HR player versus Flying Tuna, both on the Hidden with combos. The two South Korean players putting up a show right now, but Rectagon on the Hard Rock has a recovery combo. Nahus is matching it on the Hidden for Kotomiler, but the score lead ever so slowly going back the way of Fresh Off the Boat, and they're having a pretty good time with this for now. A little bit better recovery combo on Taquito and MCY4 helping out there.
Absolutely, those recoveries are so huge. We're about to get into the second Ki, about to get into that point where you expect more and more breaks. Flying Tuna and worst HR player, the two players to look at, dead even accuracy and everything. It's the same score. Worst HR player drops 1-100 right when I say it.
Ooh.
And a miss right after. Suddenly no FC left. One Kotomiler is inner camming and Naku's also break. Flying Tuna still holding that FC. Doesn't matter that he doesn't have this combo. There's nothing for Kotomiler.
It's a four-way reset during the second Ki time for Kotomiler, and Fresh Off the Boat are in full control now. It was a three-way reset for them as well, but Flying Tuna, he just came here after Laser Grand Arena, the official OWC run 1 versus 1 on Laser, and now he's here to win a second tournament, or at least he's trying his damnedest, still on the FC, the only big combo in the lobby on that Hidden. 9.5 accuracy as well. You'd be hard-pressed to even think that this guy had to take a break for a year and a half because of military, but here he is in another tournament grand finals, in a team tournament, doing what he does best and carrying on this free mod 1. Still with the FC here, and is it ever anybody else, man? Flying Tuna is just an absolutely ridiculous player.
He's just that guy. You see those recovered combos from Kotomiler, but as long as Flying Tuna holds on, it just doesn't matter, especially as Flying Tuna's teammates continue to recover, only supporting him further in the 99.62% accuracy FC we're seeing. We're into the last Ki, those really, really tough one-two jumps you were talking about coming through in full force in this Ki, and Flying Tuna is hitting everything.
The anti-aim and the wide angles finally claim Flying Tuna's FC, but they will not claim the map for Kotomiler. There is a 200,000 score lead here. Don't let those combos fool you on the right-hand side. There's only a sliver of map left. They would have to hit everything here at the end and pray for misses from Fresh Off the Boat. It's going to be close by the end. Is there enough time? Is that 200K lead enough for Fresh Off to keep it on their side. Worst HR player drops, Nahus drops, Malashevsky drops, and like flies, they all fall at the ending, and Fresh Off the Boat take the win on this Fremod 1. Flying Tuna with 800,000 score, putting up the carry performance needed. 2 maps in a row. It's been those standout pop-off scores that make the difference. Look at the support here for Fresh Off the Boat. Yeah, Intercamping had a rough time on the Hard Rock. 370k, sure, whatever. But 390k, 475k, 494k for Fresh Off the Boat is worse than 3 of the 4 scores on kotomiler. It's that 820k from Flying Tuna doing so much work and keeping them in the lead.
Yeah, it feels like this was the pick just tailor-made to let Flying Tuna go off. They went into this, they said, you know what, we just saw a single-player carry performance on the previous pick. Let's just go into our own. Pays off dividends. Again, 818k on this map is ridiculous. This is top-level tournament aim, and Flying Tuna made it look way too damn easy. It's kotomiler's pick next. Off of that No Mod 5, it's a question of where they'll go. As far as the aim control, it's kind of scattered throughout the pool a little bit. There's not anything as set down as the No Mod 5 and No Mod 3 are in terms of their skill set and aim control. So it's going to be a little bit hard to go just straight aim control pick. It's going to be the hidden 3 pick from kotomiler.
Yeah, this one, again, another custom. The pool, full custom this week. So every map you're seeing here is custom mapped for Grand Finals. This one, I believe by Alveria, no, Nightmare for this one. And this is some 196 BPM stream tech for the most part. Lots of really tricky high spacing flow streams in this map alongside a pretty significant slider component as well. But I think a lot of the difficulty and a lot of the patterns where you're going to see big miss, especially chain misses, are going to come out on those stream patterns.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this is... It's not an aim control map so much as it is a flow control map, but I think in a way it's still the right kind of pick for kotomiler. I'm absolutely interested to see them on that hidden tech, of course. You have very, very good hidden players on this team. I would want to point to hidden 3 from last week where they dominated with the forum score, but honestly, that map is just far too different from this one. I think it is just important to note how skilled they are on the hidden forum, especially. I think the player to look at no matter what, so long as control is in the name of the skill set.
Yeah, definitely. He's going to be a big asset for this team. Malashevsky as well, especially on a more streamy pick like this. Don't forget, Malashevsky at one point, I don't know if he still has it, but at one point had the hidden-only PP record on Astral Empire, which is 220 BPM stream flow aim, so 196. Not that tough in comparison. Should be just fine on something like this. Players like Kriller also will be very strong on this. Somebody like either Nahus or Tomaszczyk I could see also going in on this, maybe Intercamping. He's been a lot better on hidden within the last couple of years as compared to Hard Rock when he first started out in tournaments, especially big open rank tournaments in 2020. So should be a pretty good lineup regardless of the exact choices here for kotomiler. It's going to be Malashevsky, Nahus, Kriller, and worst HR player. MCY4, Rectigon, Taquito, and Flying Tuna coming in for Fresh Off the Boat. Again, Rectigon a lot better on hidden as of recent as well. Taquito, yeah, has specced into the speed a little bit recently, but at his core is still a hidden player. And of course, Flying Tuna, MCY4, no introduction on something like this. They are incredibly good stream tech players. And they missed, as I said that.
Of course. Can't have anything as a commentator.
No.
Every time you cast a player up, they're going to go down. Taquito's
can't have shit in Grand Finals.
Well, in this early section. 3 combos to 2 early on as we get to those first big streams.
But now another couple of breaks here. MCY4 and Rectigon. Flying Tuna also dropping. Taquito dropping as well. Throwaway reset for Fresh Off the Boat. Malashevsky, Kriller finding misses in return for kotomiler, but its worst HR player still holding the FC right now. Nahu's on the recovery, higher than anyone on the side of Fresh Off the Boat, and continued misses for everyone. 4-way reset now for kotomiler. Everyone everywhere is dropping combo. The highest in the lobby is 140 on MCY4, and that's just good news for kotomiler. They have 150,000 score lead accrued from when Worst HR Player had that FC in the first third or so of the map. So the more teams keep full resetting, the better for the team already with a score lead. But more resets, more chain misses coming through for kotomiler do bring that down a little bit in favor of Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, the combo about even slight favor for Fresh Off the Boat, but they need a break for that to matter at all. Can't do a break from anyone with the big combo, Worst HR Player and Kriller especially, but it's pretty Nahu's. Forum does find a break, but trades with MCY4 and Taquito. Kriller does as well, but the combo not quite enough for Fresh Off the Boat to really make a difference as we get into this KI. They need Malashevsky to be the one to find a miss.
They do have combo lead on Rectagon and Flying Tuna, though. It is coming their way. More misses for Nahus and Worst HR Player. Help it out there. And now it's closing in on 100k here. There's still a quarter of the map left, Tycoon. There's still time for this to go back over. Rectagon and Flying Tuna holding these combos is crucial for Fresh Off the Boat. There goes Taquito. That's one of the supporting combos down, but that was matching Kriller. There goes M2I4 as well. There goes Rectagon, and suddenly combo lead right back the other way as kotomiler, all the crucial combos, every single one of them down for Fresh Off the Boat. Malashevsky still holding 750 combo. Kriller will find the break there, but the damage is done. 220,000 and climbing now for kotomiler. And the end of the map, it looked good for Fresh Off the Boat until suddenly it went very, very badly for them.
Yeah, those chain misses will siphon your accuracy. It's the scary element of playing flow aim on hidden. It's something that kotomiler knew coming in. Hey, we've got a good chance to find multiple chain misses on the other team. It was what paid off for them. You know, you just look at the difference between those miscounts between these teams, where the highest miscount on kotomiler, 18 miss on Nahus, is matched by MCY4 and doubled by Taquito at 34. Just speaks to the danger of playing this type of map on hidden, paying off dividends for kotomiler.
Yeah, solid pick for them, all things considered. It was looking a little dicey near the end, but kotomiler had the score lead the entire way through that map, so it was always on their side. They were always ahead on that pick, and you can never call a map like that a bad pick when a team is always ahead and still ends up winning it. It looked a little close at points, but still a good pick here for kotomiler. So we have kind of our delineation here. Speed bans for kotomiler, aim pick for Fresh Off the Boat, reading and aim control bans for Fresh Off the Boat, aim control and stream aim, kind of gimmicky tech stream for kotomiler in the picks, and you kind of expect the rest of the match to follow that script as well. The mechanics maps picked up by Fresh Off the Boat, and the tech and aim control reading stuff picked up by kotomiler. So let's see what kind of mechanics map they want to go into next for Fresh Off the Boat. You have to assume they want to save some of the speed picks for later on, the DT3, DT4 in particular there. So for now, they're going to go into the No Mod 2, that stream stamina and flow aim pick. Does seem a little odd after losing on the Hidden 3, but again, that Hidden 3 a lot different in terms of how it plays compared to something like the Nomad 2, much more comfortable and standard in the style of mapping.
Yeah, it has to be noted that kind of the difference in these flow aim maps between mechanical skill sets and technical skill sets, right? kotomiler is going to be the team that wins on the technical skill sets, Fresh Off the Boat on the mechanical. That's why they picked aim. That's why they had speed banned against them. For kotomiler, they want flow control, aim control, pure slider tech, right? And this Nomad 2 is much more of a mech map than a tech map in that kind of sense. As you said, a much more traditional map at that 200 BPM. Just flow all the way. Map by Eurishian. I think a very, very well-known flow aim stream mapper.
So this map was updated 4 days ago, by the way. So this map will not load into the tourney client without manually closing the tournament client, changing it back to a normal OS client, updating the map in that normal OS client, and then restarting it as the tournament client once again. So our streamer is just going to take care of that for us. Thank you very much, Affirm Cheese. And then we'll get right into the Nomad 2. Luckily for us, this is a relatively long map, 3 minutes and 30 seconds in length. So I don't think we'll be missing too much here at the beginning of the map. In the meantime, talk about the roster for both of these teams. Very likely to be Rectigon on the side of Fresh Off the Boat, as well as players like Window Life, maybe Kamenchik to come in for this as well. Start time on this match was 9:30 p.m. for him, so currently 10 p.m. Very, very comfortable gamer hours there over in Kazakhstan at the moment. Decaton, also a very, very good long stream player, especially at 200 BPM. MCY4, Flying Tuna, also very, very solid on this. And it's going to be MCY4, Window Life, Rectigon, and Decaton on the side of Fresh Off the Boat. Malashevsky, Tomaszczyk, Mathy, and Ninerik on the side of kotomiler. As we have a little bit of a client bug at the moment. Ghostu Memory or Tosu not liking the client restart. So we'll be back with that in just a minute. Again, very long map, so probably not missing too much.
Yeah, interestingly, you did note Kamenchik would be a good pick for this map, but not in the lobby at all. I think very well worth noting. Despite what good a time it would be, I'm wondering if Kamenchik is even here.
Yeah, I'm just going to scroll through the MP link, but I don't see his name on anything, so either just keeping warm outside of the lobby and ready to go for those speed picks later on, or potentially not here. That might be part of the reason why they're saving those speed picks for later, trying to contact him to get on and warm up for some of those speed picks. So we'll see if he does make his way into the lobby later on, but for now, going to be still a very good long stream stamina roster for Fresh Off the Boat, as we are going to just get the client windows on stream at the moment and focus on resetting the client overlay.
And meanwhile, we get to listen to a great track. I was mentioning it a lot at the start of the tournament. It's been a while since I've said it, but BGM by Takahiro Tay. This one, I legitimately have been listening to this on my own time, like while I take a walk. It is just that good that like I don't need to be in Res Cup for this to be my BGM. Such a good track.
Yeah, very solid. It's a nice, nice extra touch here. So in the meantime, again, just waiting on the stream overlay client to either get fixed or get itself fixed. Having a bit of a rough time with that. Keeps crashing on the client reset, unfortunately. So just troubleshooting that in the background. In the meantime, I'm going to see if I can find anyone who is live streaming this on either of the player teams.
Decaton is, and he's FCing.
Yeah, so looking pretty good for Fresh Off the Boat if they still have a full combo on Decaton right now. 2,000 combo in, and at least he is still holding 99.85 accuracy. So safe to say this is probably going well for Fresh Off the Boat at the moment.
Yeah, not immediately finding any other perspectives, but this Decaton score is kind of insane. He finally finds a miss. But yeah, I mean, holding an FC for that long, right near the end of the map, is going to do a lot of score. Around 850k Decaton sitting at right now near the end of the map. Likely a Fresh Off the Boat point that we're just not even seeing.
Unfortunately for Fresh Off the Boat, they don't get to have their moment on stream. But yeah, it's a very, very good team score for Fresh Off the Boat. 2.65 million team score to 2.45 million for kotomiler. So still a very good team score for kotomiler as well. MCY4 Decaton with a hard carry performance on that map. FC with 99.7 AC for MCY4, 988k. Decaton with the one chain miss on a single pattern, 99.4 accuracy with 860k. Beating out Malashevsky and Tomaszczyk at 740 and 680k. And once again, it's a pick that's decided by the pop-off high scores for these teams, as opposed to the previous pick where it was kind of a team difference, even the bottom scores doing some outscoring for kotomiler. Once again here, it's the pop-off scores. Rectigon and Window Life both had worse scores than anyone on the side of Kotomiler. Matthew and Neneric at 565k and 464k. Rectagon at 426k. Window Life at 377k. So both of them having a bit of a rough time on that no mod too. But MCY4 to Kaiten just putting on the carry pants there and showing them how it's done.
Yeah, those two scores above 2,000 combos so crucial. I really wish we got to see the MCY4 FC, because that is a pretty mental score to set in grand finals. Unfortunately, not our fate. We will move on to a tougher fate. Interestingly, a kotomiler pick, this hidden one, not the fresh off the boat pick, the team that won on the free mod one, that pick that I kind of said would inform the decision on to pick hidden one, to pick no mod one, and as you said, hard rock one as well. So interesting to see kotomiler picking into this, but obviously I would say the better hidden team overall, and I think maybe that might be what they're playing off of here.
I imagine that has to be it, because this is a very similar style to the free mod one. Of course, it is higher BPM at 230, but this is a very similar style to the free mod one in the way that it is relatively awkward aim. If you're good at anti-aim and wide angle jumps, you tend to be good at this sort of awkward pattern aim as well, with the linears and wide angle circle jumps abounding in this map. So it is a similar style, but as you said, Kotomiler are the better hidden team. They had a hidden map banned against them. They've already won the hidden 3, so kind of imagine it's because of the fact that this is in the hidden pool that they are picking this. By the way, MCY4's full combo on that Nomad 2 is 860 PP in tournament. Just thought I'd throw that out there.
No way!
It's not quite a 900, but that's a damn good score. I don't know what the tournament PP record is anymore. 860k has got to be way up there, though. I know a couple of years ago it was low 800s. So that is one of the highest PP play scores in tournament ever.
Yeah. I believe I've heard it's like 870 is the record. I'm not quite sure how true that is. That was the last time I saw someone get close to the tourney record. Somebody said that, and I didn't verify it. But either way, MCY4 very close.
All right, we're going to get into the hidden one now. Again, picked up by Kotomiler. Currently 2-2 as two client windows decide they just don't want to cooperate. So we're going to get those closed out and hopefully reconnected. There's Malashevsky logging in. There's Kriller logged in. So all good now. And yeah, you can see why this is a hidden one pick for Kotomiler, right? Malashevsky, Kriller, Nahu's worst HR player, all very good hidden aim players. On the side of Fresh Off the Boat, though, they still have a very good hidden aim roster. Rectagon, Decate, and Flying Tuna Taquito still can hold their ground against a roster like this. So, as with every other pick so far in the grand finals, you're expecting this to be close, but Kotomiler definitely with an on-paper advantage here looking at the rosters.
Absolutely. You see, Decade break in the first, not where you want to find a break. This map is so tough. You want to build up all that combo in the verses that you can, because they are just easier straight up. As, you know, we're slowly approaching that Ki where the pattern aim gets so intense, you see a little bit of that flavor here, and it's only going to get harder from here.
Yeah, there's one-shot pattern coming up right now, as a couple of other casters like to call it, the washing machine right here, and that claims 4 combos. 5, actually. Delayed break there from Nahu's. Malashevsky, Nahu's worst HR player, Taquito, Rectagon, Kriller, all falling in this first Ki time. It's Decaton and Flying Tuna with the only combos left, and those are both on Fresh Off the Boat. And despite this being a hidden pick, despite this being hidden awkward aim, Flying Tuna was the carry player on that free mod 1, and he took hidden for Fresh Off the Boat. So this is still a very dangerous spot for Kotomiler to be in on their third pick.
Absolutely. Kriller was that last FC holding until the very end of the Ki where he wasn't able to hold on to those 1-2 jumps, and now Flying Tuna and Decaden are going to make him live to regret it. Decaden does find a miss. It's traded by Malashevsky and Nahu's not the trade you want to take as Kotomiler. Kriller goes down as well. It's a full combo reset again for this team. Meanwhile, only losing Decaden's combo on Fresh Off the Boat. They are looking comfortable in this one. A bit of a troubled pick for Kotomiler as that lead is slowly climbing towards 300k.
Yeah, and even Rectagon, the person who took Hard Rock on that free mod 1, 500 combo right now, right up there with Taquito for Fresh Off the Boat. And Those two combos higher than any on the side of kotomiler. It's just worst HR player with 300 combo beating out Decaton, but that's the only player he has higher combo than. And it's the only player he has higher score than as well for kotomiler. And that is their highest score in the lobby right now, too. So this is looking a little one-sided in comparison to some of the previous picks. Rectigon, Taquito on that big support. Flying Tuna still FCing this map. There goes Rectigon. So one of those big combos is down. But, I mean, Taikani, there's less than a quarter of the map left, and it's a 600,000 score lead for Fresh Off the Boat. Even if they full reset right now, there's just no way anything goes back. It's the full reset instead for kotomiler. Finally, the FC goes down for Flying Tuna, but 750k is a massive score. Taquito right there behind him with 1,000 combo himself. And this is just a disaster pick for kotomiler. Their third pick ending up as a break point for Fresh Off the Boat. The aim map, well, unfortunately for kotomiler, the mod preference didn't make as big of a difference as they may have hoped. And the team who won Free Mod 1 clinches it again on the Hidden One.
Yeah, honestly, it feels like the mod preference kind of doomed kotomiler to failure here. It feels like a lot of those misses were just those hidden misreads, right? Unable to really keep up with it. And it is going to be a huge problem. That breakpoint that early is honestly such a surprise given the match these two teams played last week, where it took until the literal end of the match for breakpoints to come through. kotomiler losing a breakpoint this early, not quite their style in that sense, and gives Fresh Off the Boat a huge advantage going into this next pick.
All right, so now it's Fresh Off the Boat with the opportunity to capitalize on that breakpoint. Currently up 3-2. Overlay is behind in that regard, so we'll get that fixed up as well. But right now, up 3-2 for Fresh Off the Boat. And with quite a lot of picks left, you still have the Hard Rock one, the Nomad one, the DT one. If you want to go into some of those other aim picks, feels like Hard Rock one with this massive hidden preference for kotomiler might be a solid choice here. Nomad one as well is relatively high approach rate, despite being in Nomad. It is AR 9.9, so pretty close to that Hard Rock anyway. Aside from those, you do still have, of course, the DT3, the DT4, the DT1 still exists. They're going to go with the Free Mod 4 instead. A bit of an odd pick here, I feel like. The alt aim control and rhythm hybrid. That said, the rhythm in this map is always either 1/6 or 1/8. I don't believe I saw any 1/3 patterns in this. And none of the other weird snaps like 1/5 or 1/7. So you're really just looking at the alt patterns themselves, the 1/6 bursts, and some 1/8 triples in this map. So Fresh Off the Boat saying we can still hang with you on some of the aim control here, but definitely an interesting pick considering all of their wins so far have been on pretty much pure mechanics maps.
This is interesting. I think the philosophy behind this, I can imagine this just being, hey, we just took a breakpoint. We could take a big risk here and get a map out of the way that we're not completely sure on. Maybe they have Damon scores on this. It is interesting we see Caleb come into the lobby for this pick, who we haven't seen yet. So maybe a little bit of a roster swap here for this map.
Yeah, and it's maybe a pick to give some other players some time in the lobby here. You do see some pretty solid players for Fresh Off the Boat on these Force Mod picks as well. Rectigon very likely to just take the Hard Rock for them on this map, and unfortunately for Caleb, not going to be joining in on this one. Does leave the lobby for Keto instead. So rosters pretty much locked here, I believe, for both teams. Gonna be a interesting pick, though. I mean, kotomiler, I think, does have the chance to take a breakpoint on this, so we'll see if Fresh Off the Boat can deliver on consolidating that breakpoint they just took on the Hidden One, or if kotomiler can take it back. Taquito, Flying Tuna, Decaton, and Rectigon in for Fresh Off the Boat. Decaton Hard Rock, Rectigon Hard Rock, alongside Malashevsky, Nahus, Kriller, and Worst HR Player for kotomiler. Only one Hard Rock for them, just on the Worst HR Player.
Yeah. Be interesting, especially seeing those Hard Rock players. Of course, you're playing Rhythm on OD10. That can make things really, really difficult. The hidden players are on OD9. Decaden is the first to find a break in that early section. I think it's something a little bit slower, though. Still not completely out of the woods as far as difficulty goes. But again, you do not want to break that combo before slower sections where people can just build up the combo around you.
All right, still no breaks here for kotomiler. Flying Tuna, Taquito also both breaking. So now it's 4 FCs to 1. And it's a third of the way into the map. I mean, this is a pretty short pick. We're already a significant portion in, almost halfway through now, and it's just Rectagon comboing for Fresh Off the Boat. Kotomiler really capitalizing on these early breaks with the 4-way FC still intact halfway through the map. Now another break for Flying Tuna and another one for Taquito right before that. So this is looking very, very rough for Fresh Off the Boat. Kotomiler finally, nope, that was a Bancho break. Nahu's still actually FCing, and another break for Taquito to come through. So this is still 4 full combos, 3/4 of the way into the map, and I think a huge mispick for Fresh Off the Boat after that last break point. And unfortunately, not going to be able to consolidate that break point. It's going to go right back the way of Kotomiler. I think that miss that time was real for Nahus. We do see him reset, but Malashevsky, Kriller, Worst HR player, all still FCing for Kotomiler. And it's just Rectagon. It's just less than a quarter of the map left to go. Another couple of Bancho misses come through. It's still 3 FCs for Kotomiler. This map is over, and they have absolutely crushed Fresh Off the Boat on this pick. A 1 million score lead by the end of the map.
Guys, the map isn't that easy. You can stop pretending now. You can break. It's okay. But they won't. 3 FCs on the side of Kotomiler. What the hell just happened? Rectagon breaking right at the end, unable to match it. What an insane team performance from Kotomiler. 3.4 million team score in the grand finals is absurd.
Yeah, that is a very, very good team score. Nahu's, by the way, still ahead of 3 of the 4 players on Fresh Off the Boat. So that's just team comfort right there. That's just the team being way better for Kotomiler on that sort of pick. And, well, Fresh Off the Boat, that's why you don't pick the aim control into this team, apparently, because they're just better. They're just them on those sorts of picks. So stay away from that aim control in the next round, because Kotomiler able to take that break point right back with the biggest score lead we have seen all match so far. Over 1 million team score difference there. And now into the next pick for Kotomiler. You have to assume they're just going into more aim control and finger control, because after that, I mean, that is just confirmation that you are better on that skill set.
Yeah. I mean, talking the difference between mechanical and technical skill sets, there is still both No Mod 4 and Free Mod 3 fulfilling that tech sense, but it's actually going to be the DT4 pick. Now, Dio, you said earlier in the match, this might be a bit Fresh Off the Boat favored, just given the consistent tough speed finger control, and especially given that Kotomiler went for speed band. It's very interesting to see this is the pick from them.
Yeah, I am incredibly surprised at this pick. I'm not going to call it a bad pick until the map is over, but I am incredibly surprised at this pick. You never know the local scores for these teams, so always benefit of the doubt. It is grand finals. These are tournament players and teams that have a lot of captain experience, that know what they're doing, know the team scores, and know how good they can be on maps like this. But definitely I expected this to be a pick for Fresh Off the Boat, and I expected this to be a very one-sided pick for Fresh Off the Boat, given the DT2 and Free Mod 2 bans for Kotomiler. This is a very similar map to the Free Mod 2 in terms of where the difficulty strain is allocated. It's not so much the long streams like the DT2, and it's not so much the aim burst hybrid like you see in the DT3. It's a lot of finger control, a lot of even note streams, a lot of doubles, and a lot of mid-length or long bursts, 9 to 13 notes most of the time at 263 BPM. It's also AR 10.3. It's just an added difficulty on double time. But this is definitely one that I expected to be a pick for Fresh Off the Boat, given the bans and given the rosters for both of these teams. So Kotomiler picking into something that is a little bit different for this map. That said, of course, they do still have a very good speed roster. Nineric going to be very strong on any of the speed maps in the pool. Did recently win ESSA, which was an ACK-based, very high star rating, high skill cap, speed-only tournament. Malashevsky, a very good speed finger control player in particular. Matthew, an incredibly good speed finger control player. And players like Kriller or Nahus or Tomas Sheik can also go in for this. Maybe intercambing. It just depends on who's feeling good on the day. But Rectagon, Taquito, Flying Tuna, Window Life, all very good. And Kamenchik is actually here as well. So this is a really solid speed roster for both of these teams on this map. Let's see just how ready they are for this DT4.
Yeah, so tough in the finger control. Even in the beginning, you see multiple breaks coming from these teams. It's only one player on the side of Fresh Off the Boat breaking early on, though. Those huge... I mean, honestly, these combos feel so huge just because it's so easy to break. Window Life is going to go down, evening up the combos between these teams. An accuracy lead, of course, benefiting kotomiler so much more despite their early breaks. You see that 99% on Matthew that is doing wonders for this team right now.
Yeah, and Taikane, I think I know why they weren't picking speed earlier. It's probably because Kamenchik was not ready for this match, maybe not warmed up. Currently on 80 accuracy, so either just not warmed up or just not having a good time on the speed, right? It could be either of them. But this is a big win here for kotomiler. Just one player not having a good time at all for Fresh Off the Boat. So Rectagon now the only FC remaining for them, the only combo at all remaining for them, with another three-way reset coming for Fresh Off the Boat. There goes Kriller. So one of the combos down now for kotomiler. Nineric also on very low combo, but it's Matthew matching the FC from Rectagon with 99 AC, I might add, for Matthew, alongside Tomas Cheek on 800 combo on the recovery. So still a big combo lead for kotomiler, and Fresh Off the Boat, it's only Rectagon able to combo right now. Tomashik does break. Matthew also drops the FC. Wait a second, this can still go back the other way. It's a 350k score lead, though. Rectagon basically has to FC this pick in order to win it for his team.
Yeah, it's looking scary. You see the cursor shake. He's not completely confident, but through the act drops, he's still holding on to the combo. That's what counts. But there's no team support, which is just pure scary. There's only a quarter of the map left, and with no combos alongside Rectagon, he's going to have a tough time. You see at this break, he can see the combos. He knows that he is the only person left on his team that can do anything to this score here. And with a low accuracy, I don't even know if he can reach that 300 score cap that he even needs to even it up.
Yeah, and unfortunately with this accuracy, Rectagon's limited to maybe 950k or so on the DT, so it's just not going to be enough to make up the score difference. The team comfort far higher for kotomiler. 300k on Window Life is the only one matching even the lowest score there from Kriller on the side of kotomiler. And Fresh Off the Boat just not having as good of a time on this speed, and kotomiler able to take the win there on the speed mechanics, the speed finger control map in the DT4, doing wonders for them. 630k for Matthew does get outmatched by Rectagon in a pretty big way with that 970k, but it just doesn't matter. The rest of the team's so much more comfortable.
Absolutely. The thing to note, Kamenchik is not at home, and I imagine that different setup absolutely contributed to what we saw there, just unable to really put forth any sort of score. It is unfortunate, but it's also the reality of this game here. kotomiler, it was the right pick right in the end for them. You know, such a good score from Matthew especially. And now Fresh Off the Boat, looking at a bit of a different kind of vibe, right? We know that they don't really want to pick into speed at this point, so likely looking at aim at this point, I imagine, be it Nomad 1 or Hard Rock 1. I doubt we see DT 1. The AR 10.5 can be quite isolating and honestly has a little too much speed element for comfort, I would guess. But we'll see exactly what they want to go with.
I do think the DT1 could still be a pick for them, just because Taquito can play those higher approach rate DT aim maps. Not necessarily a pure speed player, but does have the aim and the DT reading to pull off a good score on something like that. So there are substitutes for Fresh Off the Boat if they do want to go into that. But I definitely agree, the Nomad 1, the Hard Rock 1, looking a lot better right now for Fresh Off the Boat. Agreed.
Absolutely. I would say Hard Rock 1 is going to be to their benefit the most, and it is the Hard Rock pick. coming out from Rectagon, of course, it's just 3 BPM separated from Hidden 1 functionally. Though this one, a very different style. It is awkward aim still, but it is a completely different sort of awkward aim. I have a hard time even describing it. It's not pattern aim that we see in the Hidden 1, a little bit in the free mod 1. This is just your, like, free-form aim mapping. And it's a very strange style to play, especially on Hard Rock.
Yeah, it's some 1/3 triangle-focused... It's almost like triangle-focused pattern awkward aim. It's just kind of weird. A lot of wide-angle stuff, a lot of anti-aim, and as you said, a little more freeform than some of the other pattern aim-focused maps that we've had. You know, a lot of structure to the 1/2s in Free Mod 1, a lot of structure to even stuff like the washing machine pattern in Hidden 1, and especially a lot of the linear wide-angle stuff in the Hidden 1. This one, a lot less of a dedicated structure, but still following a lot of similar patterns in terms of difficulty for this map. So we will see just how good both of these teams are on something that's a little bit less telegraphed in terms of how it presents its difficulty. 232 BPM, the effective BPM for this map, 155 BPM, 1/3 jumps, the name of the game for this Demetori custom by Lusky.
Yeah, man, this map's so good. I think Lusky and I might agree that this is his best map ever. Such a good map. Love to see it as a custom map for this tournament. Glad to see that the players do get to play it, because this is truly something else. Also worth noting the length, 426. I believe this is the longest map in the main pool, of course, excluding Tiebreaker. So players are in for a long ride here on this map.
Yeah, longest map in the pool, excluding Tiebreaker. And we get some good Hard Rock aim consistency players in the lobby for it. MCY4, Flying Tuna, Decaton, Rectagon for Fresh Off the Boat. A very, very scary Hard Rock aim roster. Kriller, Malashevsky, Nahus, and Worst HR Player. Also a very, very scary aim roster for kotomiler. But again, Fresh Off the Boat have had the advantage on both the Free Mod 1 and the Hidden 1. You expect them to be advantaged here as well, especially with players like Rectagon, Decaton, and MCY4, all who are very, very strong on the Hard Rock, as opposed to kotomiler. Yeah, of course, Malashevsky, Worst HR Player, both actually very good Hard Rock players. But Kriller, Nahus definitely preferring the Hidden over the Hard Rock on a lot of maps. There goes Nahus. That's the first break for either team. So slight advantage for Fresh Off the Boat. Just the one FC to start things off, a quarter of the way into the map, and not a huge combo lead, not a huge score lead right now.
Yeah, it does mean that Fresh Off the Boat is able to build up that first little bit of lead, but all it takes is one break to really just even it back up. It's not a huge difference. I think the second break, whatever team it's on, is going to define a lot more what this match looks like. But to get into a Ki section after this slower slider section, and from there you really see that triangle pattern aim that you mentioned really pop out at these players. It's so tough to hit consistently. MCY4 is going to go down as we go into this section.
3 FCs to 3 right now, and make it 2-3. Decaton also finding the break. It's Flying Tuna, Rectagon versus Kriller, Malashevsky, Worst HR Player. Only a 35k score lead right now. So this should start to come back the way of kotomiler, but there goes Worst HR Player, there goes Rectagon, there goes Kriller. Suddenly they drop like flies. Nahu's also going down on the supporting combo, and it's just Malashevsky, Tuna in the 1v1. Tuna goes down as well, and now it's just Malashevsky. MCY4 Decaton are holding some supporting combo here, but MCY4 drops again, and there's just nothing on the side of Fresh Off the Boat. 200 combo, the max on any member, with Malashevsky still holding this FC for kotomiler. It should start to come back their way, but it's a tenuous lead. The combo on the rest of the roster for kotomiler similarly low, all having broken in that last Ki time. So if Malashevsky drops, this is still anyone's map, but it's going to have to come soon. 2/3 of the way through the map. Still plenty of score to be gained here for the Polish prodigy. He's still holding on to this FC, comboing through the streams, and now up to almost 100,000 score lead for kotomiler. There goes Malashevsky. MCY4 is going to trade it. Flying Tuna missed just before then, so it's still combo lead for kotomiler, but in a much smaller way than they just held. And there goes Worst HR player as well.
Yeah, those breaks are so huge. Kriller, Nahu's going to hold on to a little bit of combo, but it's not going to match Decayton and Rectagon together. Of course, support building up from Flying Tuna as well. Meaning it's slowly heading too fresh on the boat. Decayton finds a break. It's going to slow down the bleed a little bit. Going to stall that score lead out. Nahus, though, is going to find a break, and suddenly that lead, and now once again, fresh off the boat favor. It's those little breaks that really matter right now as we head into the last quarter of the map. The Ki gets harder and harder. Rectagon finds a break. Flying Tuna, the only combo left against Kriller on fresh off the boat. As long as Kriller holds on, kotomiler has this lead in store, but there's so much map left to play.
And there's a 300 combo lead here for just Kriller. You look at the rest of the scores as well. Malashevsky and Worst HR player. Now Malashevsky dropping, so Worst HR player ahead in combo over either Worst HR player or excuse me, Rectagon or Decayton. But combo lead really off the back of Kriller right now. MCY4 having a lot of trouble here near the end. Still outperforming Nahus, but there goes Flying Tuna, and there goes the map. Kotomiler taking a break point, and suddenly it looks a lot better for Kotomiler. They were able to win on the speed, where they double banned speed at the start of the match, and now Kriller popping off at the end here. 580k will outscore Malashevsky, will drop the top score in the lobby at nearly 600k now. Rectagon and Decayton do have some combo, but it's 140,000 score lead, and the very end of the map is already here. Kotomiler 5-3 now, at first consolidated breakpoint in this match.
Yeah, well, not quite consolidated yet. I don't believe they do have to take that.
They're 5-3. They're up by 2.
Oh, you're right. You know what? Yeah, you're right. Yeah, absolutely impressive score. The highest accuracy on fresh off the was actually on fresh off the boat with Rectagon. But those huge combo performances from Kriller, from Malashevsky, a little bit from Forum, though we didn't talk about it much. Forum around the same combo as Rectagon, just making a huge difference for kotomiler. It's their pick next. Their point to play with here, potentially to get up to match point, or potentially to give fresh off the boat just a little bit of leeway.
After that DT4, after the Hard Rock 1, I think you should have a little more confidence going into some of the faster maps in this pool, but do they even need it is really the question. Hard Rock 3 still available. You just won on the Hard Rock 1, so maybe opens up that Hard Rock 3 tech pick. Freemod 3 also one of the options here. Freemod 3, Hard Rock 2, Nomod 4 all still available for kotomiler here. So they kind of have pick of the litter right now, and they're going to go with the Freemod 3 Oxygen Destroyer by Karut. This is CS 5.2 AR 8.5 in Force Mod. 175 BPM, only 2 minutes long. One of the shortest maps in the pool. I believe actually the shortest map in the pool at 1 minute and 52 seconds. It's, from what I remember looking at the map pool, a lot of gimmicky stream aim, stuff like cut streams, tons of wiggle streams in this map, alongside some secondary difficulty from the finger control and general aim strain in this map as well. A lot of slider strain in this in addition. So largely the kind of gimmicky stream aim, but a lot of the finger control and slider control in this as well. And again, CS 5.2 AR 8.5, so no matter which mod you are taking, it's going to be pretty difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. The AT mod is absolutely something to note, and especially for the Hard Rock players, that is such a tough stat to come over. 5.2, man. It's going to be the highest CS in the pool for whoever has the misfortune of taking Hard Rock. Even at 175, that can get so scary. For the hidden players, the 8.5 isn't as completely straining in terms of pure stats as a normal AR8 would be, but at the same time, man, it is still so tough. This map's still so dense with objects, and it provides a huge issue if you are playing the hidden. Teams taking their times, making sure that their mod rosters are correct. You want to make sure you don't mess this one up.
All right, getting into the map once again. Free mod rosters and aim control rosters in for both of these teams. Kind of expecting this to be Malashevsky, Kriller, worst HR player, maybe intercambing, maybe Tomas Sheik, maybe Nahus for the side of kotomiler, and is going to be intercambing as that fourth member. MCY4, Caleb, Rectigon, and Decaton in for Fresh Off the Boat. And it's actually a triple hard rock for Fresh Off the Boat, double hard rock for kotomiler. Only Caleb taking the hidden for Fresh Off the Boat, intercambing, and Kriller on the hard rock. Malashevsky, worst HR player, on the hidden for kotomiler.
Very, very interesting mod combination we've seen throughout the matches between these teams. Sorry. The Hard Rock is generally the mod that you only leave 1 or 2 players on. That Hidden is the preference, but here, the Hard Rock preference showing in a huge way for Fresh Out the Boat. And you know what? Paying off early on. I should stop talking, actually. the only player with an FC.
Yeah, everyone breaking on those slider patterns. And again, it's the stream aim control, but it's also the slider control on this map that are really difficult. Some finger control as well in this map with a lot of doubles and 4-note streams, but it seems like misses for quite a lot of people. Caleb, intercambing, Kriller, Rectigon, all missing here. It's Katen and MCY4 versus Malashevsky and worst HR player. There goes Malashevsky, also finding a miss there. Another couple of misses for Caleb, Rectigon, and Kriller. Worst HR player still holding. Decaton will find a break on the wiggle stream. MCY4 also holding some combo, but 150,000 score lead plus for kotomiler right now off the back of worst HR player just demolishing this pick. Still on the FC with Hidden, and honestly, he kind of needs to hold right now. MCY4 has that recovery combo. There goes MCY4, though, and now it's all but over. Worst HR player with this FC still going strong on the Hidden. Malashevsky also on 400k, matching everyone besides MCY4. Worst HR player will finally go down, but there's no combo anywhere. Malashevsky and Decaton with the highest combos in the lobby. There goes Malashevsky, and the map finishes 370k score lead for kotomiler, now up 6-3 in the first bout of grand finals. Again, kotomiler, the team from losers bracket, they will need to win 2 in a row in order to win in grand finals, but 6-3 is a very good start to a first bout of grand finals coming from losers bracket.
Yeah, so promising, and immediately fresh off the boat, going with the pick that it's been looking like they feared. DT3 Fall Semester Song Custom Peat Map by Quantum Vortex is going to be the pick coming through.
Yeah, looking at this map in the editor, it honestly feels like pretty much even kind of strain between aim and burst speed. Of course, very high BPM burst at 290 BPM for this map. AR 10.5 as well on this pick. So the highest approach rate in the pool, matching that of the DT1, also at that AR 10.5. And so we're going to get, I think, some pretty significantly different rosters for both of these teams going into this next one. Again, probably pretty likely to see Rectigon for Fresh Off the Boat. I would assume Window Life, Flying Tuna, and Taquito probably to come in here. Usually I would say Kamenchik, but he had a really tough time on the DT4, and I believe was on a different setup from usual when playing that DT4, so likely Fresh Off the Boat will not want to put him in for this map. Nineric, Nahus, Mathy, Intercambing, Malashevsky, Tomas Sheik, all very good options for kotomiler on this as well.
See, this is interesting. It is the highest BPM map in the pool. 289 BPM. The bursts on this are ridiculously tough to get through. And there is so many of them. Of course, also have to note this is the first time we'll be seeing AR 10.5 in this match, and something that might be good to keep in mind going into a potential bracket reset is that 10.5 can be really tough reading wise. And we're gonna get to see really how players fare on 10.5 without it being necessarily aim.
Slow start to this one. The roster's in. Taquito, Window Life, Rectigon, and Kamenchik actually coming in for this and playing this one as well. This one a lot more straightforward than the DT4, I will say. Basically all the aim and bursts, and so if you're comfortable on the BPM, you should be good at this map. Nineric intercambing Tomaszczyk and Matthew in for Kotomiler. No surprises there. Early miss for Taquito. A couple act drops at the start here for Kamenchik and Matthew, both on the 94-95 respectively. 96-97 for Taquito and intercambing. There goes Matthew, though, with the first break for Kotomiler. So it's 3 FCs to 3 once again. A very fast-paced map. We're a quarter of the way in already. It's not a super short pick, but it will go by pretty quickly.
Yeah, really just waiting on those breaks to come through. Nobody getting caught off by the snap aim. Intercam getting caught off in the Ki, though, where the aim gets its most intense, not necessarily the speed. Rectagon, though, going to trade with a huge chain miss right after. It's going to keep the lead in Kotomiler's favor, but it is still very, very close between these teams, and one break could easily push it over. Too fresh off the boat, but it is going to be Taquito to go down rather than a player on Kotomiler.
Yeah, there's a bit of combo gaming going on for Kamenchik right now. 91 accuracy, but still on the FC. If he breaks, that score is going to be very low in comparison to a lot of other players. So crucial that he holds on to the combo here during this pick. These longer bursts during the Ki time is really doing a number on a lot of players, though. Nineric, Tomaszczyk with those FCs matching Window Life and Kamenchik. Matthew and intercamping on higher combo than the supports for Rectagon and Taquito. There goes Rectagon as well. Another one of those long burst breaks. Kamenchik does drop the FC as well. And now Kotomiler ahead by 350k and climbing rapidly. And this looks very good for bracket reset for the team coming out of loser's bracket. Tomaszczyk will find a break. One of those FCs down now for Kotomiler as well. But Matthew and intercamping, Chile's dynamic duo, pulling off some really good support here for Kotomiler. Nineric sitting comfortably at that 99% FC as well. Just a slider break for intercamping on this map. Taquito, of course, does have good support for Window Life, but the lead is 500,000, and there's less than a quarter of the map left to go. Intercamping and Matthew go down, but I don't think it matters. They could chain miss the entire ending here for Kotomiler, and they would still win the point. Nineric, though, 99% on the FC. Window Life not too far behind at 97.5. Nineric will actually slider break right before the end, so Window Life may be able to outscore him here at the end if he keeps combo, but that is some ridiculous scoring for everyone on the side of Kotomiler, Nineric especially, with that high accuracy, 99.07 with the one slider break.
Yeah, very, very good stuff from Kotomiler. It looked... There were points where it looked shaky, at the beginning of the match, fresh off the boat, really taking huge picks, a breakpoint especially. But they're going to take the first set in stride. Of course, it's not over. Kotomiler, the team from loser's bracket, all they have just done is even up the score, given that they lost to fresh off the boat to a tiebreaker last week, meaning they still have to win one more set. Fresh off the boat has not been knocked out of the tournament. So all of this was just information. This was stamina draining. And soon we'll be seeing a bracket reset between these teams. I believe we'll be taking a small break before then.
Yep, looks like a 10 to 15 minute break between the first round of grand finals and bracket reset. So we are going to be taking a short break between these two, but that just gives you time to get something to drink, get a snack, get something to eat, and come back for the bracket reset here. We'll see Kotomiler on the left this time, fresh off the boat on the right. And this one will be for all the marbles. Winner takes all. Whoever wins this bracket reset will win the entire tournament. So we're going to take a short break. In the meantime, congratulations to Kotomiler for winning the first bout of grand finals here. That's going to do it for us for now, for about 10 to 15 minutes. So we'll take a short break, and we'll come back to you with that bracket reset in just a few minutes. Welcome back, everyone, to the Resurrection Cup 2024 Grand Finals. We just witnessed kotomiler take down Fresh Off the Boat 7-3 in what started as a very close bout, but ended with 5 in a row for kotomiler to take the win in the first round of Grand Finals. And now, having forced bracket reset, they're back to finish the job against Fresh Off the Boat, looking for redemption after their 7-6 winners bracket victory on Tiebreaker, looking to keep the tournament run alive and looking to secure that first place for themselves and stuff the attempt from kotomiler. I'm Dio. Once again, joining me another time as well is Taikani. Welcome back, sir.
Oh man, I'm so excited. Man, that first match was so good. We saw so many incredible plays, even a high PP play on Nomad 2 that unfortunately we didn't see, but we heard. There is a lot that we can look forward to in this match. I imagine we have so much information now on how these teams are playing, not just slots, not just skill sets, but specific maps. We're seeing the maps that were huge solo carry performances. We're seeing the maps that were big team performances. And now we can see how players use this information going into the second set. Of course, now we're to the point where there's no more bracket reset. There's no more teams in a winner's bracket. There is only a winner and a loser of this grand finals match. It can go either way. kotomiler, Fresh Off the Boat, they've taken one win apiece off of each other. And it's going to make for an exciting match into the ban phase. Fresh Off the Boat going to be first banning Hidden 2. They banned this last match as well, and it makes sense to ban it again. You do not want to play more of that hidden specialty against kotomiler.
Yeah, absolutely not. Again, the Hidden 2 banned by Fresh Off the Boat in both the first bout of Grand Finals and this bracket reset now. And for good reason, I think. Fresh Off the Boat just really do not want to play that low approach rate hidden reading into a team with worst HR player and Malashevsky on it at the same time. Just that duo alone, I think, is scary enough to not want to leave that open, let alone they also have Kriller on the team, who is another very, very good low approach rate reading player. The DT2 banned out by kotomiler shortly afterwards, not wanting to leave that long speed stream stamina up against Fresh Off the Boat. I think in large part due to players like Window Life and Rectigon being very solid on that. Kamenchik as well has looked a little shaky in the first bout of Grand Finals, but on stuff like that at 250 BPM is going to be super, super comfortable with how straightforward the map is. Nomad 3 banned out once again by Fresh Off the Boat, and exactly the same bans as we had the first time now, with Fremod 2 banned out a second time here by kotomiler. Could have banned out that DT4 from earlier, as it was a win for Fresh Off the Boat, but that was actually a win for them. So yeah, that Fremod 2 just getting banned out again. Nomad 3 as well, the alt map once more banned out by Fresh Off the Boat, not leaving up that aim control pick, and the finger control 275 BPM speed pick for kotomiler, not going to see the light of day, unfortunately, for Zadorn.
Yeah, it's unfortunate. It's a Resurrection Cup original song. All the love to Trung Nova, still the same. Unfortunately, we won't be seeing it in this match, but of course, you can listen to it on streaming. So, you know what? It's not all a loss. It's not like the song has disappeared forever. It is interesting to see kotomiler go for the speed bans, given that they actually won every speed pick. But it absolutely makes sense, right? You saw a little bit of recovery on the DT3 from Fresh Off the Boat. You saw, they were a little more scary on that map than they were on DT4. You do not want to risk it, especially in a Grand Finals setting. So it's a safe kind of ban, but interestingly, they are actually going to go straight into the DT4. Ban speed, pick speed.
I can't say it's a bad strategy. Fresh Off the Boat really did not look comfortable on that. Kamenchik especially had a really hard time with the accuracy on that pick. I had a tough time with the ACK on DT3 as well, so playing on a different setup for him. And I think kotomiler just looking to abuse that, looking to abuse the fact that maybe the roster for Fresh Off the Boat is not as good as it usually would be on these types of picks. So going into the AR 10.3, 263 BPM, burst speed finger control hybrid map here in the DT4.
Yeah, we saw this in, of course, the first set where kotomiler, this pick looked a little shaky on paper, and then we saw a Matthew 600k performance on it that he was even able to beat out a Rectagon 900k near FC, just given the strong team scores in comparison to Fresh Off the Boat, where unfortunately Kamenchik just was not able to perform on this map. I'm curious if we're going to see any roster swaps on this. I believe Kamenchik is now offline, and probably for the better. You know, if you're not on your main setup, it's not exactly the kind of thing that you want to confidently say, put me in, because this map is so tough.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it just makes a lot of sense for Fresh Off the Boat in this case, to have maybe a couple of people who are a little less comfortable on the map, but on their main setups and feeling comfortable generally on the day in for something like this. Because Kamenchik really struggled on this pick when we saw him earlier. So alongside Rectagon with the 970k, if they can bump up Kamenchik's score to, you know, 250k or something instead, the score difference on this was only 141,000 points. So that is still a very close pick, but a lot of that is reliant on Rectagon performing once again, and a lot of that is reliant on this roster change. It's going to be Taquito in for Fresh Off the Boat, and honestly, I thought we would have seen him on this the first time around. Taquito on finger control speed in particular is an absolute demon. MCY4 actually also swapping in for Flying Tuna here, so a couple of roster swaps for Fresh Off the Boat. But a couple of early breaks as well for those two subbed-in players. Matthew finding the early break for kotomiler. Tomaszczyk and Kriller also missing alongside him. Now it's just Neneric suddenly with the full combo intact for kotomiler. But score lead still on their side as Window Life and Rectagon on lower accuracy than Neneric. But there goes every combo is gone now for kotomiler. Neneric dropping the FC. It's Rectagon and Window Life with the full combos. MCY4 and Taquito are struggling a little bit. Taquito on the combo, MCY4 on both the combo and the accuracy, down at that 91% right now. But Rectagon, Window Life, as long as they hold combo, are going to continue to extend this score lead in the direction of Fresh Off the Boat. Tomaszczyk with another miss as well. MCY4 trading it here. It's those supporting combos. Matthew and Kriller doing a lot of work. Neneric also on very similar combo to both of them. So it's those three mid-range combos keeping this close right now for kotomiler, as Tomaszczyk, MCY4, Taquito all somewhat struggling on the map. So it really is the 2v3 on this one for the most part. Window Life from Rectagon versus the three comfortable speed finger control players, Matthew, Kriller, and Neneric.
Yeah, Kriller, though, is going to go down. It's a huge combo to lose, especially as Window Life and Rectagon keep holding on. Neither player wants to break at all. They're showing it, you know, taking a little bit of backdrops here and there just to hold on to that combo, keep it intact, and that's all they need right now. Matthew and Neneric, they both go down on the same object. Rectagon trades one, but you need a trade from both. Window Life goes down after, but a 283k lead. It might as well be set in stone. There isn't the combo to fight off. The highest combo on the side of kotomiler, 155 from Neneric, and they can see it's a break. The score lead is too drastic. This isn't set one Fresh Off the Boat. They will be playing this one a little bit differently. The roster swap, it mattered so much here. You know, not having that 77k score, suddenly things look a lot better for this team. Having, of course, that you know, bigger support for Rectagon as well in Window Life. It's making such a difference here, and there's nothing at this point that kotomiler can really do about it.
There is still a good bit of combo here at the end of the map. It's going to go back the way of kotomiler, but I don't think there's nearly enough time. The combos needed to be big going into this ending section for kotomiler to take advantage, and that mid-range pop-off from Window Life and Rectagon, huge scores from both of them. Window Life improving his score from 360k to 760k. It's a 404,000 improvement for Window Life. He more than doubled his previous score, whereas on the side of kotomiler, Matthew dropping down from 630k. And Neneric, of course, did improve his score, but only by 145,000 points. So the rest of the lobby just not having quite as good of a time, unfortunately. And both the roster swap, MCY4 and Taquito, doing better combined than Flying Tuna and Kamenchik, plus that pop-off from Window Life. I mean, 400,000 score extra is a huge boon to the team.
Yeah. Now, it's a great break point to start off with for Fresh Off the Boat, but of course they need to find their consolidation somewhere. They could go right back into speed, pick the DT3, get the speed gone early. I'm not quite sure that's the method, given that they did just lose the DT3 to get themselves in the bracket reset in the first place. It is an option. Of course, they have a lot of mechanical masters they can go for as well. We've seen they did really well on the aim in the last match. Nomad 2 as well. Of course, they had an MCY4 and Decaton duo that went absolutely insane. It is going to be the pick that they go with. That really traditional 200 BPM flowway map by Eurishian. And once again, just because we're the bracket reset, I do want to mention that this is full custom. Every single map here is brand new, and in the case of the Nomad 2 specifically, we unfortunately have not seen it on stream yet, so this will be our first time looking at it. Music finally coming in. We can see this Nomad 2.
Yeah, this was again a pretty close map. I mean, a lot of the maps early on in the bracket reset until we started that mispick for Fresh Off the Boat with the free mod 2, I believe it was. Might have been the free mod 4. Yeah, the free mod 4 mispick for Fresh Off the Boat, that 1 million score difference. Until we got there, a lot of these maps were really close. This is only a 200,000 score difference, despite the fact that MCY4 FC'd this in the previous bout of grand finals. So Fresh Off the Boat, I mean, you can't count out kotomiler on this pick. Malashevsky 740k, Tomashik 680k, Mathy 570k, Nineric 460k. Like, these are very good scores from all of these players on kotomiler. So if MCY4 and Decaton didn't have their pop-off scores, Decaton as well at 860k, by the way, if they didn't have those kinds of scores, they would have lost this map. So they need to either have the rest of the team pull up the bootstraps a bit, or they need to find similar pop-offs either from MCY4 and Decaton or from a couple of other people on this map, because this was close the first time around, and you expect it to be close once again here in the bracket reset. Start command is out, rosters should be locked in, and this time around we'll get to see the Nomad 2. Will we get another 850 PP score from another FC on this map? That's my question.
I'm saying we need to go higher. I want to see more.
There's only so much more, man. He dropped 10 100s last time.
I'm saying SS, Theo. That's what I'm looking for.
All right. Well, you have fun in Wonderland, Taikari. I'm going to go back to the bracket reset myself here and see which of these players are most comfortable on the map. We do see a few double S's out of the gate. Don't expect those to hold on for too long, though. This map is still 8 stars. Still very difficult. Tomashik, Malashevsky, MCY4, Rectagon, all on very high accuracy, but there's a couple of misses. Nineric and Tomashik breaking, both for kotomiler. Mathy also on the roster for them. Windowlife and Decaton on the roster once again for Fresh Off the Boat. So big combo advantage here in the first quarter for Fresh Off the Boat with those 2 FCs gone for kotomiler.
Yeah, Matthew finding a huge chain miss as well. You don't want to siphon down that accuracy. Tomashik to the next to go. It's a trade with Rectagon, but look at how many misses that was. That was down from, like, I believe 96% accuracy to 92. It's such a huge drop, especially when you still have 3 players on the opposing team FCing. Malashevsky alone to match them. Some supporting combos, sure, but you cannot be taking that supporting accuracy of your Malashevsky against this MCY4, Windowlight, Decaton Demon trio.
Yeah, absolutely. And now it's just Malashevsky versus the world at this point. The team consistency is back in spades for Fresh Off the Boat, and it might seem like that first bout was a bit of a fluke on this map, a bit of a fluke bad score, that is, for the players who had trouble on this, as 3 full combos still intact. It is MCY4 and Decaton both holding once again. Those were the 2 pop-off scores in the first round of Grand Finals for Fresh Off the Boat, but Windowlife holding right alongside them is just another egg in the basket for Fresh Off the Boat. MCY4, though, will find a big chain miss during this second TI time. It's Malashevsky and Nineric holding big combo for kotomiler. Matthew was holding some, but does find a miss at the very end of that stream pattern. So it's the 2 big combos versus the 2 FCs for Fresh Off the Boat. Tomashik also being a little outmatched by Rectagon right now. So combo advantage to Fresh Off the Boat, about 800 combo advantage in total for them at the moment. And the score lead still going in their favor, 375k and climbing.
It's a big lead to have. Some weird exponential streams coming through here. Window Life going to find a miss. That's an FC down. Tomaschik does trade it. Not the player that fresh off the boat wants to see make a trade, though, as Malashevsky still holding that FC against the Kaden. The Nerek's recovered combo suddenly looks like it matters a lot more. They need another break to come through for this score lead to really count here. It's just deadlocked right now at that 370k, but it's Malashevsky to find the miss. And now Nerek left alone.
Yeah, you get the big circle streams here at the end. Nerek and Tomaschik go down on them. It's only Matthew to hold for kotomiler. Malashevsky did make it through the big streams, but broke before then. Rectagon and Window Life will break as well. It's still the FC for Decaton right now. He drops as well right as the words come out of my mouth. Unfortunately for kotomiler, no combo on their side big enough to take advantage of it. Another break for MCY4, Tomaschik and Malashevsky. Matthew holding combo through the ending here, but all for naught. 550k score lead for fresh off the boat at the end of the map. And it's an early consolidated breakpoint 2-0 start in the bracket reset for the team coming out of winner's bracket.
Yeah, it is great. It's showing fresh off the boat like, hey, we still got it. No FC this time, but hey, one miss is a pretty nice replacement here. And a great consolidated breakpoint right at the beginning of the match. kotomiler starting off on the wrong foot here. A team that brought this team to the bracket reset in the first place with that 7-3. It's a little bit scary for kotomiler now. They need to make sure that this next pick is the right one for them. And luckily for them, there's a lot of aim control left in this pool. A lot of stuff that they looked really, really good on. Hidden 3 is going to be the pick, and it absolutely makes sense. We saw this as a complete kotomiler wipe in the last match. Ultra Luna, hidden flow aim, chain misses abound. This one they won by 300k. It was so good for them with Malashevsky and worst HR player especially just leading the charge in terms of their ability to control their cursors with that tough hidden flow aim reading.
Yeah, it's the tech stream in this map, right? It's the super high spacing, super high curvature streams. To kind of define that term curvature, if you haven't heard me talk about that before, it's a technical term from mathematics that describes how ridiculous a curve is, basically. So if you have, for example, a stream that is 4 notes in a square shape, that's some high curvature. If you have a stream that's a straight line, that's 0 curvature. So high curvature streams here, very, very tight circles on a lot of the streams in this map, as well as very high spacing on a lot of those. So it can be really tricky to consistently hit a lot of those, and that's why, Taikani, you were talking about all the chain misses on a lot of the streams in this map. It can be really tricky to start off on the right foot. If you get the angle just a little bit wrong on some of these streams, you end up missing the next 5 to 10 notes.
Yeah, chain misses, I think the name of the game here. It's gonna be tough for these players, man. As you said, the high curvature means so much. We saw in the last match, you know, one of the big defining things was just Taquito played super well, but found 2 really huge chain misses that completely defined his score. And that can happen to literally anybody. It doesn't matter who you are, just how consistent you are, in hoping that you don't find those huge misses. Last score we saw, the last highest score we saw was 550k. It's a tough map, and we'll see it pretty soon. Nahu's already going to find a chain miss early on. Forum gonna follow it up. Huge chain miss from worst HR player, the early section of the map.
Yeah, Nahu's also finding that chain miss, and Flying Tuna matching there. Kriller now finding a slider break in the aim section. Rectagon breaking earlier on alongside Flying Tuna. Another miss for Nahu's on the side of kotomiler here. It's 2 FCs to 1 right now. MCY4 and Taquito versus Malashevsky at the moment, with a couple of more breaks coming through for Rectagon and worst HR player. Flying Tuna dropping once again. There goes Taquito, though. That's one of the FCs down now for fresh off the boat, as MCY4 also breaking now, actually. Disaster for fresh off the boat. It's a delayed 4-way reset with Rectagon breaking a little bit earlier, and now afterwards once again. Malashevsky still comboing. Kriller holding a bit of combo there, but does drop it, unfortunately for kotomiler. But Luckily for them, Malashevsky still holding, does finally drop on the spaced 1/3, but there's not too much combo on the side of Fresh Off the Boat to take advantage. Only MCY4 above 100 right now, as Kriller and Worst HR player crest that mark as well. Taquito finding another break for Fresh Off the Boat. It's just trades all over the place, over and over again throughout the map, but kotomiler, that big combo for Malashevsky, that big support for Kriller, doing the work to bring the score lead back to their side. It's only 70k, but the combos look relatively even right now, and that's always good for the team with the score lead. MCY4, the biggest combo on the side of Fresh Off the Boat, also breaking now, and so it's 3v4 in favor of kotomiler. Make that 1v4 as Rectigon and Taquito break on the same slider there. More chain misses for MCY4 and Taquito, and it's just Flying Tuna versus the world. The combos even across the board here for everybody still holding, and kotomiler, I think they may have just secured it. Nahus and Malashevsky, the Polish duo, will find a couple of breaks here in the end, but it's a 250,000 score lead and still climbing.
Yeah, that score lead will not slow. Kriller can go down. Forum still holding above 700 combo into this ending section. It is too late for Fresh Off the Boat to do anything. All we can really do is watch as Forum sets it in stone, crossing Malashevsky's max combo from the previous set, by the way. I don't believe he'll cross Malashevsky's max score, but still, that combo is kind of insane from Forum, hitting the entire Ki. Alongside Taquito, actually, who just unfortunately does not have the same combo buildup he needs, does not have the support he needs to do anything, and it's going to end with a 430k lead for kotomiler.
Yeah, Nahu's also hitting a lot of that end Ki time, ends the map with 400 combo intact, so a couple of players there popping off at the ending for kotomiler. Malashevsky with that big combo in the middle, keeping them alive through the most dangerous parts of the map, but that ending so good for kotomiler when everyone was breaking on Fresh Off the Boat. Everyone on kotomiler was holding. And of course, you look at worst HR player's play graph right there, 21 misses. I think you could probably tell where most of them came from because he was holding all the way into the ending, almost 1,000 combo, highest on the map. And kotomiler putting up a very, very good team score that time around. Very well done from them. They are going to be able to put a point on the board here versus Fresh Off the Boat. 1.9 million team score on that hidden 3 this time around, as opposed to the 1.8 million team score they dropped last round. So a bit of an improvement by 100k for them, and a similar margin of victory, 300k to 450k this time around.
Yeah, it's great stuff from kotomiler. They still got it. You know what? The hidden flow, and that is their territory and their territory alone. I love back-to-back we've seen the flowing maps get picked against each other. First we saw Hidden 3 and then Nomatsu in the first match. Now we saw Nomatsu and then Hidden 3. Fresh Off the Boat. They're going into a new pick for this match. Power Move, an original song by Showtime. Background also by Showtime, and map by Yaspo. Huge precision aim map here.
It's the first custom song, original song, of the match so far in Grand Finals, including the first bout here. So happy to see one of these get picked. As you said, it's the Precision Hard Rock pick. A lot of flow aim 160 BPM alt patterns in this map, and a lot of slider aim. Not necessarily the sort of kind of Halgo style freeform sliders, but a lot of very fast linear sliders, a lot of slider control going between tons of different sliders back to back to back in this map, as well as a little bit of finger control to go along with that. So it's honestly pretty similar in terms of the difficulty points with the free mod 2, but very different in terms of the structure and what sorts of patterns create that difficulty in this map. This one's a lot more linear in terms of its focus, as opposed to a lot of the kind of wiggle focus stream patterns in the free mod 2.
Yeah. It is interesting, we saw a little bit of precision on the free mod 3 where Fresh Off the Boat opted to take 3 Hard Rock, 1 Hidden. So I kind of understand the philosophy here, right? Like, they are just really, really comfortable on precision aim. Even though they did not win the free mod 3, forcing kotomiler to play Hard Rock, right? Not letting them just go on the AR 8.5 Hidden. It's a big difference here that this Hard Rock 2 pick makes over the precision that some players can play on the free mod 3, and I'm sure we'll see that come up here. Not every player on kotomiler is going to want to play Precision Hard Rock.
And that said, a very good roster for it from both teams. Intercamping Malashevsky, worst HR player Kriller is not a roster I would want to go up against on aim control, finger control, hybrid precision, that's for sure. But Decaton, MCY4, Rectagon, and Window Life also a lot of incredible Hard Rock precision players on their side, alongside the Hard Rock aim control for these players. All very, very good. And you can see that with the start of the map. 4 full combos intact for both sides. There goes Malashevsky and worst HR player and MCY4, though, all on that same slider. 1 break in favor of Fresh Off the Boat, though. So Decaton, Rectagon, and Window Life versus Intercamping and Kriller. There goes Decaton, finds a slider break of his own and a miss right afterwards. MCY4 and Window Life now also breaking right afterwards. And suddenly it's disaster for Fresh Off the Boat. Only Rectagon holding on here versus both Kriller and Intercamping. 50k score lead and climbing for kotomiler, but it all depends on how long these FCs can hold. Malashevsky and worst HR player are on some support as well. MCY4 and Decaton breaking once again for Fresh Off the Boat. So even the supporting combo is doing better here for kotomiler, and alongside that FC advantage, now that's gone, but still the combo lead for kotomiler with how well the supporting scores are going for them. Malashevsky and worst HR player on fantastic recovery here.
Yeah, interesting. You can see kotomiler is all slider breaks. Everybody has an S rank, though there is only 1 FC remaining. As you said, that recovery combo is so huge. As we get into the second half of this map, Rectagon has a lot more weight on him than Intercamping does, as Rectagon's combo just matters a lot more in that sense. With no recovery combos behind you, at least none that really matter in this kind of state of the game right now, you have to be worried. You have to be the one to FC, especially as Window Life goes down in that slower section, in that section where you want to see the recovery come from your teammate. Meanwhile, kotomiler has no traded breaks of their own. Intercamping's client gonna go a little gray. I'm gonna pray that isn't a discon, though.
Well, we can always take his score at the time of disconnect, so it is still a lead by 200. It is still a lead by 200k here for kotomiler at the moment, but Rectagon now unmatched on the FC. Malashevsky, worst HR player, breaking now. Window Life, MCY4 also breaking. So it's Malashevsky with Kriller and worst HR player having broken, left alone versus Rectagon and Decaton. And it looks like a lot of this score lead is going away very quickly in the favor of Fresh Off the Boat, as Malashevsky, the only combo holding them back here. There's just a little bit of map left. I think there's going to be enough time, though, if Rectagon and Decaton still hold into the ending here. Worst HR player with another break, and now it's 30k in the favor of Fresh Off the Boat. Malashevsky doing everything he can, but unfortunately, all the combos holding here with another break for Kriller, and Malashevsky also slider breaking at the end. Fresh Off the Boat, all comboing into the ending here. Decaton and Window Life finally trading it out, but Rectagon going to be holding the full combo all the way to the end of the map. MCY4 also comboing the ending there. I think the biggest question is, do we have any ending score from Intercamping from a live stream perspective or from a screenshot taken in-game using Shift F12 to generate it using the OS-Link? Because if he does have enough score there, I mean, it was only 150,000 score lead without him. So even with his score entirely removed, it was only 630k. So if he beats that 630k mark with his local there, kotomiler should be able to take this. I'm not super familiar with the FF rules for this tournament, but let's just see exactly what the ruling is.
Yeah. Just waiting to find out what the Intercamping score is in the first place. Either way, that's such an unfortunate disconnect. Kriller saying not enough. Malashevsky confirming it. 559k is the final score from Intercamping. Even if it had been counted, it still would not be enough for kotomiler to take the point, landing it solidly within Fresh Off the Boat's territory. It's about an 80k difference between the teams, Intercamping score included.
Yeah, again, the score difference without intercamping, 631k, so 559k from him. Enough to make it close, but not enough to win the point there for kotomiler, so it is going to be that 3-1 lead for Fresh Off the Boat. A little bit closer than what we saw on the tournament client, but still the same end result. That full combo from Rectigon, absolutely massive, 970k from him. A huge carry performance there for Fresh Off the Boat. And now we get into the next pick here for kotomiler. They were able to win the Hidden 3, but they are still behind that break point. So every pick from here really counting for them. They're going to need as many of their own picks to go their way as possible here, because they still have to take at least one of Fresh Off the Boat's picks in order to force that tiebreaker later on.
Yeah, it's going to be the No Mod 5 pick from kotomiler. We saw this at the beginning of the previous set, where they won by 232k off of really, really good pop-off scores from Forum and Malashevsky. This, I can imagine they're just going for the same thing here. Of course, Acid Burst, this one so heavy on the aim control, sheer and custom. And it's just something that speaks to the skill sets of kotomiler, right? Of worst HR player, of Malashevsky. Just getting that kind of technical skill set down.
Yeah, this one we saw in the first round of Grand Finals as well. This was the first pick for kotomiler. They were able to win it off the back of an FC from worst HR player and 786k from Malashevsky. Neneric and Kriller both having a little more trouble with this map than maybe they would have liked, as they both scored a little lower than the worst player on Fresh Off the Boat on that map. So everyone on Fresh Off the Boat, relatively similar scores, all between 430 and 600k. So we'll see if they can replicate that kind of team-wide consistency, and if kotomiler can replicate either the pop-off scores or bring up the bottom a little bit to match those lower scores from Fresh Off the Boat on this map. This one, again, a lot of stream aim and a lot of finger control, especially with the repeated 263 BPM bursts in this map, making this 270 BPM bursts in this map. This is 180 BPM base, so the 1.6 in this map, 270 BPM on most of those 4-note bursts. So let's see how a relatively aim control focused, a little bit techie pick here goes for both of these teams. Lots of slider streams, lots of really tricky pattern streams with the map.
Yeah, early on you see a couple breaks from Fresh Off the Boat. Not going to matter too much as we go into the early section, of course. Those early breaks aren't too much of the combo that you're actually worried about, though. That early lead for kotomiler does look kind of nice. Still an MTY4 trade out, though. Actually, no FCs left on Fresh Off the Boat with that MTY4 break. Meanwhile, kotomiler holding on to 3, and overall, the Fresh Off the Boat combo just not looking as sharp. You have Rectigon and Flying 2 to recover after their very, very early breaks, but against 3 FCs and that Kriller recovery, it is tough early on.
Yeah, there goes Neneric, though. That's one of the other combos down here for kotomiler. The FC is still intact on Malashevsky, and worst HR player doing a lot of work, but better supporting combo for Fresh Off the Boat now. Rectigon and Flying Tuna not too far behind that FC mark, only about 30-40 combo behind. So MCY4 and Decaton matching that combo from Kriller means it's just a straight up combo lead over Neneric for one of those supporting scores. Plus an ever so slight combo lead for kotomiler on the FCs. Score lead, though, seems to be pretty steady here. 70k now, actually going back the way of Fresh Off the Boat, just barely. We're heading into the last quarter of the map now, Taikani, and it is extremely close between these teams. The back and forth wiggle streams coming out for both of them. Everyone hitting these patterns so far, as nobody dropping anything. There goes Kriller, though. That's a big drop for kotomiler, and Fresh Off the Boat now all still holding. Rectigon finds the chain miss. Decaton finds the chain miss. MCY4 drops as well, and now suddenly it's only Flying Tuna versus the 3 combos for kotomiler. Flying Tuna on the reverse choke is doing everything he can, but the FC is still going strong for kotomiler. Malashevsky and worst HR player set it at the start of the Grand Finals on this map as well. But these two just absolutely ridiculous on maps like this. The double FC for kotomiler is huge for them, and they end up winning the pick by 260k after the score lead went right over to Fresh Off the Boat, actually.
Yeah, it speaks to the power of these players, even without supporting combos, right? It was only when other players were able to build up a recovery that they were able to get close to kotomiler the second one of those players broke, two of those players broke, three of those players broke. It instantly vanished. That lead was gone in an instant. The double FC as well, an improvement, as Malashevsky found misses right at the end last time. So kotomiler, a little bit of confidence they can have in their stride after that one. A huge No Mod 5 victory for them. That said, it's not even. They still need to find a breakpoint somewhere. It's Fresh Off the Boat's pick next. Maybe a chance, but there's still a lot of really, really good picks for Fresh Off the Boat to go for.
Yeah, absolutely. And once again, it's the top scores that end up making the difference. Both Kriller and Neneric dropping lower scores than Decaton, who had the lowest score on the side of Fresh Off the Boat. So everyone on Fresh Off the Boat outscoring two members on kotomiler. It's those FCs carrying there, making the big difference that they needed. As now we go into free mod 1 for Fresh Off the Boat. This was one of their picks in last round. Actually, it was their first pick in the first round of grand finals. Flying Tuna remissed this with 820k as his scoreline, carrying the map for Fresh Off the Boat. As once again, it was kind of a team consistency difference in favor of kotomiler. Worst HR player, Nahus, Malashevsky, all scoring higher than even Rectigon, the second highest score on the side of Fresh Off the Boat. So that carry performance from Flying Tuna doing a lot of work there. Awkward aim, the name of the game on this map. A lot of wide angle jumps, a lot of anti-aim patterns, especially baked into the TI times in this map.
Yeah. The 1-2 jumps that you mentioned before are so tough, especially. Those are the big diff spikes where you see so many players break. I think everybody has had multiple breaks on the 1-2s in this map. They are demon. They are not your farm 1-2s. They're not so darks. These are Eumeria's 1-2s and tough ones at that. Awkward aim that is so hard to keep up with. Huge spacing changes very, very quickly.
All right, we'll see how well both of these teams can do on this one. Again, it was the first pick for Fresh Off the Boat last round, but they only won this by 100k. So this was very close in the previous round. Kind of expect this to be close once again here. kotomiler, they ended up actually winning the Hard Rock one later on in the match, though they lost the hidden one. So maybe you'll see an extra Hard Rock or two on the side of kotomiler this time. Last time we saw this played, it was only one Hard Rock for each of these teams on Rectigon and Intercambing, respectively, for Fresh Off the Boat and kotomiler. So we'll see if any of that changes or if they run it back with basically the same roster. Let's get into it. Nahus, Malashevsky, worst HR player, and Kriller in for kotomiler. A swap here. Malashevsky going to the Hard Rock and Kriller coming in for Intercambing to take the hidden. Rectigon, Taquito, Flying Tuna, and Decaton. Almost the same roster, but MCY4 subbed out for Decaton there.
Yeah, honestly, a pretty good swap out. I was kind of surprised to see Decaton not playing this last time. You know, such a good aim player. Now able to really come in and do some damage. At least I'm hoping. As you said, that difference was only a 100k. It's pretty unreasonable to expect Flying Tuna to put forth the same performance we saw in the first set. So maybe that swap coming in to help Flying Tuna out, help that consistency out. You see Malashevsky and worst HR player break earlier on in the verse. Here we go into the first PI. This is where you expect the breaks to come through. This is where the combo, the consistency on it really matters. Everyone gets through the first set of 1-2 jumps, though.
Yeah, unfortunately, that means score lead for Fresh Off the Boat. kotomiler needing the break point at some point in this match. Malashevsky and worst HR player with those early breaks, just trailing behind in the combo a bit here, as 4 full combos hold strong for Fresh Off the Boat, and it's another break for Malashevsky on the Hard Rock. Flying Tuna, of course, still holding for Fresh Off the Boat. The 4-way full combo still intact over there. He was the top scorer on this map last time, remember. So kind of expecting him to pull off something similar here. Nahus and Kriller, though, looking very solid. 99.87 accuracy for both of them right now. So it is still possible for kotomiler to stage a comeback here. We're not quite halfway through the map left. Still a lot of time for anything to happen. Second Ki time now starting up here as we get into another set of these ridiculous 1-2s. But there goes Nahus. That's one of the FCs down now for kotomiler. Rectagon will trade it on the side of Fresh Off the Boat. But Malashevsky and Kriller both drop right afterwards. And that is disaster. A 4-way delayed reset for kotomiler with that break from worst HR player, and nobody else besides Rectagon breaking for Fresh Off the Boat. 3 hidden FCs still going strong for them.
Yeah, Kriller questioning what is even going on the other side of the screen. And can you blame him? It's only Rectagon to find that break. There are 3 FCing players right now, 2 of them at 99.74% accuracy in Taquito and Decaden. There is nothing that kotomiler can really do but watch the devastation in the second half of the map. Fresh Off the Boat, they're holding strong. Taquito does find a break. Decaden finds a break. It's Flying Tuna alone left, but with a 450k lead and with no combo on the side of kotomiler, there's not really much they can do about it.
Not much at all right now, and really we're just watching Flying Tuna at the moment. Had the 800k choke on this map the last time that it was played. All the FCs are down besides him. All the combos are reset at basically the same point here. There goes Flying Tuna though, so no FCs once again, but those breaks from Rectagon and Flying Tuna matched by Kriller, and not going to matter even if he didn't break, even if Kriller had held there. It just would not make a difference. 500,000 score lead right now for Fresh Off the Boat going into the last Ki time. It will be a couple more breaks here for Decaden and Rectagon, but the damage is done. The map is basically over. We're just waiting for the score screen at this point because this is going to be a 4th point for Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, it's so huge to have such a dominant point, a point that they show, hey, we are doing better on the aim. If you pick aim to us, you will lose. Do not pick No Mod 1, Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1. Those are not your maps. You will not be taking a break point on them either. At least that's the look of it, because Fresh Off the Boat are looking much, much better on this end than they were in the first match. Flying Tuna, you know, he's not the standout scorer anymore. Taquito's right behind him. Decaden not too far behind either. It's really only Rectagon below that kind of margin, and even then, still performing better than 3 members of kotomiler, for him being the only player to beat out Rectagon. So it's a huge, huge team score from Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, again, the score difference last time this map was played was 107,000. The score difference this time around was 517,000. So they built an extra 410,000 score lead between this bracket reset and the first round of Grand Finals. Not sure exactly what kind of team building exercises they did in between, but by God, do I want those for the next time I captain a tournament, because they work. So Fresh Off the Boat looking very, very solid on that free mod 1. As you said, Taikani, I don't think kotomiler will want to pick into stuff like the Hidden 1 anymore. Maybe not even the Hard Rock 1, despite having won that in the first set of Grand Finals. So let's see where they want to go from here. Honestly, I think you just go into more of that aim control and finger control. No Mod 4 still open, Hard Rock 3 still open, Free Mod 3, Free Mod 4 still open. I feel like those are generally the best picks for kotomiler in this match right now.
Yeah, Free Mod 4 especially, you know, actually it's going to be the Free Mod 3 pick, but just because I want to talk about it, Free Mod 4, they got a 3.5 million team score. That is absolutely something they're going to be looking at. But it's a Free Mod 3 pick for now. We saw them do really, really well on this at the end of the previous set. Worst HR player, of course, the one slider break, 850k hidden score that really, really drove this team to success with a 370k team score lead in the end. So hoping to replicate that kind of score for kotomiler. It's something they absolutely need. They cannot drop another break point, and so they're saying this is our safe pick. This is the pick that we can say we're comfortable going with, that Fresh Off the Boat aren't going to take from us again.
Yeah, let's see if they can replicate the kind of scores that they had in the previous round of Grand Finals. Last time, it was an almost 400,000 score lead for kotomiler. Worst HR player, 857k on a one slider break on this map, and Malicia, a couple of other very good scores as well for them. I do think they'll probably end up subbing out intercambing on this. He did have a pretty rough time with it. Dropped sub 200k, 197k in particular on the hard rock there. So likely to sub him out for someone else on the side of kotomiler. Not sure exactly who that would be. Maybe somebody like Nahus or yeah, maybe something like Nahus to go in and take hidden on this. We'll see exactly who wants to come in for the last player for kotomiler, if they're just going to run with intercambing again. Fresh off the boat, meanwhile, no big pop-off score, and that was the main difference maker. It was MCY4 at 490k, Decaton at 416k, and Rectagon and Caleb at 310k and 260k respectively. So we'll see exactly whether these teams can replicate their previous scores or whether we see a difference made here. Neneric coming in for intercambing on the hard rock. Hidden hard rock this time for Malashevsky, where he took hidden previously. Kriller on the hard rock once again for this map, and worst HR player on the hidden to try and replicate that pop-off score he had in the first set of Grand Finals. MCY4, Rectagon, Flying Tuna, and Decaton in this time around. Flying Tuna subbing in for Caleb on the hidden.
Very, very interesting. Malashevsky was the second highest scorer on kotomiler last time on that hidden, so it's interesting to see the mod switch up. You know, especially as Kriller and Nineric are having a bit harder time holding that consistent combo. It's a bit scary to see Malashevsky take that mod swap, but we'll see as the map progresses. We're nearly halfway through. It's a slight lead for Fresh off the boat. They just haven't had as many breaks from key players. It's MCY4 now holding on to the FC. I was about to say MCY4 and Rectagon, but Rectagon is going to go down. It's a big combo to lose as Flying Tuna is going to go down as well. Trades with Forum, though. Trades with worst HR player Malashevsky. He's going to find a huge chain miss on a wiggle. It's a full combo reset for both teams, with the exception of just one lone Rectagon, but not for long.
Yeah, but it's more misses for Fresh off the boat. 100,000 score lead manifests out of thin air for kotomiler, as yeah, it's a four-way reset for them, but fewer chain misses, fewer accuracy drops. Flying Tuna now at 92 here, Decaton down at 94, and a lot of that score lost going right the way of kotomiler. It's 100,000 score lead. It's not much to work with, and there's combo advantage for Fresh off the boat. They have to be careful here at the end. Worst HR player also breaking. Now it's 3 combo leads for Fresh off the boat. The support there at the end of the map. It's going to come down to the wire here, but it's not going to be enough. Just barely 17,000 score, but kotomiler take the win. They say a dub is a dub. We'll take that point. 17k, 1k, doesn't matter.
Absolutely. It was honestly, I feel, just the chain misses that really doomed Fresh off the boat. We saw in that little cut stream section, they were just having a much harder time just holding on at all. You see a lot of those red spikes on the graphs, and that made a huge, huge difference. MCY4 almost able to take it back, is the second highest score in the lobby behind worst HR player. It wasn't enough, though. kotomiler, they're safe another day, but that one was a little tighter than they might have hoped for.
Yeah, absolutely. They're definitely happy that that went the way it did, that they were able to squeeze out a victory there. Only 17,000, largely due to Fresh off the boat vastly improving their team score. They went from 1.48 million team score to 1.72 million team score. So huge improvement there of 240k for Fresh off the boat. Making that extremely close. And now we get the DT1 pick here for Fresh off the boat. Unpicked in the previous round of Grand Finals. This one, some stock standard DT aim. Cassie and Mimi's collab DT1. Again, all of the maps in Grand Finals in this tournament are custom made for Grand Finals. So yet another custom map by those two. And yeah, it's 273 BPM. AR 10.5, OD 10.4, 2.5 minutes of some pretty basic DT aim. This does have some burst components to it, but definitely not the main point of difficulty here. If you struggle with the aim, regardless of whether you hit the bursts or not, you're still going to get a low score on this map.
Yeah. That 10.5 is so notable. We saw it on the DT3 as well, where we got to see who's feeling comfortable on the 10.5. Window Life and Ninarek both had FCs on the DT3. It didn't feel like too many players were necessarily uncomfortable with the reading, which is a very, very good thing for both these teams, because this map is so much mechanically harder than just its stats. OD 10.4 as well is going to make the speed elements of this map pretty brutal, honestly. 273 BPM bursts with that high OD. You're going to see a lot of act tanking, I imagine.
Yeah, we'll see who's ready for those streams when they come around. For now, though, getting into it with, I think, some pretty good DT aim rosters for both of these teams. Fresh Off the Boat likely picking this because they have players like Rectagon, like Window Life, like Flying Tuna, like Taquito, Decaton, MCY4, a lot of really good DT aim players on this team. I could see any number of those players going in for this. As kotomiler as well, players like Malashevsky, Nahus, Mathy, Intercambing, Worst HR player can also play stuff like this. Tomas Sheik, also a very good DT aim player, and all of these players very, very strong on the DT aim. It's one of the most ubiquitous skill sets in the game for high-level players in very high ranks in the solo leaderboards, and you see a couple of big roster swaps because of that. Tomas Sheik, Ninarek, Nahus, Worst HR player for kotomiler, Rectagon, Decaton, Window Life, and Taquito for Fresh Off the Boat. Full combos all intact here at the beginning of the map.
Yeah. So the accuracy lead not going to really be defined at all. 2 breaks from Tomas Sheik and Ninarek right before the Ki, though. It's going to be pretty huge. Those huge jumps coming out, catching both of them off. Window Life is going to end up trading one of those breaks. Taquito recovery combo is keeping the lead from swapping over, though. End of the first Ki. It's looking like a lead for Fresh Off the Boat, but the question is just for how long?
Yeah, it's only 100 combo lead for Taquito over either of the other recovery combos for kotomiler, but again, either of those other recovery combos have a 90 or so combo lead, but there goes Tomas Sheik. And so now combo lead squarely with Fresh Off the Boat. It's no longer even. Nahu's also dropping the full combo. Worst HR player now the only FC on kotomiler versus both Rectagon and Decaton. Big recovery from Taquito. Big recovery from Window Life. Ninarek also dropping here for kotomiler, and this is why they picked the DT1, right? These aim maps, you saw it on the free mod 1, and you're seeing it again here on the DT1. Aim, very, very solid as a skill set for Fresh Off the Boat. Worst HR player, Rectagon, Window Life, Taquito, all breaking here. Decaton, Ninarek also breaking. So it's a 4-way reset for Fresh Off the Boat, but it's still a 330,000 score lead. There is still a third of the map left to go. Tomas Sheik and Nahus do still have some combo here, but is there enough time? Is there enough combo left in the map for those players' scores to matter, for them to bring it back for kotomiler?
Honestly, it's more of a question of how many times they can they see Fresh Off the Boat break here alongside just building up that combo. Just one break for this team will be fatal. If you're kotomiler, you want to see those Fresh Off the Boat breaks. You see Rectagon go down. It's a start. That lead is slowly going their way, but they're running out of time here. They all need to hold on to that combo. They cannot afford a single name flashing red. It's under a 100k now. Even then, I don't think it's enough.
It's going, though. It's going so fast at the end of the map. 10k, 8k, 5k. There's the swap. They all combo the end in 17k at the end of the map. It actually does go over every single player on kotomiler. Hits the entire ending. They play it perfectly. And the 2 breaks there from Rectagon and Taquito are enough to bring the score over just barely in the favor of kotomiler. They take that break point back. They even it up 4-4. kotomiler, they've been on the back foot since the very start of this match. They lost their first pick as a breakpoint to Fresh Off the Boat. They started off down 2-0, and finally On the 8th pick of the match, on Fresh Off the Boat's 4th pick, they finally take that breakpoint back and even it up 4-4.
Dio, I am in awe. I know these maps so well. I thought no shot it was dense enough to bring it back, but here we are regardless. We're 4-4. It's an even score for the first time in this Grand Finals bracket reset. There's not that much pool left. There's no mod 1, no mod 4, Hidden 1, Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 3, DT3, and Free Mod 4 left. kotomiler, they've got 2 picks left to work with here. Free Mod 4, absolutely one of the best options that they could go with. Of course, they had that 3.5 million team score on the last match on that Free Mod 4. They also won DT3 to take us to bracket reset in the first place. Could be feeling that just after playing that DT1, just feeling the speed. See exactly what they go with, but I think those are 2 really, really good picks for them. It is going to be the Free Mod 4.
Yeah, again, we've talked about it. It's been danced around a little bit by kotomiler, but here we go, the Free Mod 4, now the pick for them. This was the single biggest score lead in the first bout of Grand Finals. 1,092,881 point difference in favor of kotomiler last time this was played. Malashevsky, Kriller, worst HR player, all FC'd this map to 0 FCs on the side of Fresh Off the Boat. A very late choke from Rectagon on the Hard Rock with 970k, but 0 FCs for Fresh Off the Boat. So it's going to take a big come up for Fresh Off the Boat to close that gap, or a big drop from kotomiler. If they drop the ball on this and find a couple of misses halfway through the map, it can start to look a lot closer, but this on paper is the best possible pick for kotomiler here, and I like that they're using it now. They do not want to give over another breakpoint here. They want to make sure that they keep that breakpoint they just took and not give over any leeway to Fresh Off the Boat to try and take something back for themselves here.
Yeah, I think this is easily the most well-timed pick that we've seen. I cannot see a world where they switch any of their roster as far as kotomiler goes. Fresh Off the Boat, could maybe see it. Taquito wasn't looking too hot, 382k. Certainly not enough to contest against a triple FC. We'll see if we get that kind of swap. Of course, 2 Hard Rock 2 Hidden is also a little bit of a dangerous play. So could see a change of the mod combinations as well.
Yeah, if anything, maybe Nahu swaps out for somebody else on the Hidden or for a different player on the Hard Rock, but even he still scored higher than 3 of the 4 members on the side of Fresh Off the Boat last time. So it is going to be the run back here for kotomiler with the exact same roster as they had previously. Rectagon, Decaton, Flying Tuna, and Taquito all in once again for Fresh Off the Boat as well. Double Hard Rock once again as well for Rectagon and Decaton. So exact same rosters, exact same mod combinations, and already we see more misses than we saw in the previous round. Kriller and Nahu's both down already. Flying Tuna, the only combo drop to match on the side of Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, it's a good start, and it's a short map as well. There's only about 1,100 max combo in this map to begin with, so those drops actually matter a ton. Those drops are a significant amount of combo that you would want otherwise, especially in a slower section of the map. Rectagon's going to find a drop, trade with Nahus, but I mean, not the player you really want to trade with. It means there's 2 FCs left and about dead even combo.
That extra break. Oh, another break for Kriller, though. Decaton will trade it, so that's actually one of the FCs gone now for Fresh Off the Boat. It's just Taquito versus worst HR player and Malashevsky, but Flying Tuna on a big recovery. Nahus matching the supporting score there from Rectagon, so roughly matching combos. There goes Flying Tuna, worst HR player also breaking there. Was a Bancho miss for Nahus, so big combo down for Fresh Off the Boat, FC down for kotomiler. but still neck and neck right now as the combos all basically even at the moment. Malashevsky matching Taquito, Kriller matching Decayton, Nahus matching Rectigon, and worst HR player matching Flying Tuna. There goes Taquito though. That's the FC down now for Fresh Off the Boat, and suddenly huge combo lead in favor of kotomiler. It's much closer than in the first round of grand finals, with more and more misses coming from kotomiler, but Malashevsky holding it down right now for the team. Kriller and Taquito finding breaks once again here, as it is also Nahus actually finding another trade as well. So it's all on Malashevsky. Rectigon, Decayton, Nahus, Kriller all breaking there, but Malashevsky still holding. Somebody lauded as one of the best, if not the best, tournament player of the modern era, once again showing off why he has earned that title over the last couple of years. Full combo to carry the team to victory on a pick that on paper should never have been this close.
Yeah, Malashevsky honestly asking, where's my team at? We just got a triple FC, where'd they go? But it's a huge score. Nonetheless, it's kotomiler putting themselves closer and closer to a match point. What this means is that they can guarantee that they do get their final pick at all. It wasn't guaranteed until now. Fresh Off the Boat, they're going to have to win one more map to make sure they can get their own final pick guaranteed. It's scary. They could go into speed with the DT3, but given how they performed on it last time, it can be a bit of a scary pick. That said, you know what? They won DT4, and that one was a much worse performance than DT3. It could be something they're looking at. Of course, Hard Rock 1, Hidden 1, Nomad 1, all the A maps still open. Hard Rock 1 and Hidden 1 were pretty good maps for them. Hard Rock 1, they did end up losing due to some pretty crazy pop-offs from Malashevsky and Kriller, but overall, really, really consistent on it. And Hidden 1, they did win off of a pop-off score from Flying Tuna. It is going to be the pick that they go with.
Yeah, Hidden 1 once again for Fresh Off the Boat. I believe this was a pick by kotomiler in the previous round. They wanted to pick into some Hidden, but ended up picking into the aim skill set of Fresh Off the Boat, and they were able to take a breakpoint on that map by 680k, so massive score lead for Fresh Off the Boat on that map in previous round of grand finals. Once again though, as we saw on Necology there on the free mod 4, it can go the other way despite how it looks very close on paper. Flying Tuna 800k last time, Taquito 740k last time, everybody else in the entire lobby 480k or lower. So it's those pop-off scores, and those don't always happen. So Fresh Off the Boat, they need to be careful about this. They need to be careful that somebody else on kotomiler doesn't pop off and find a high score of their own, and they need to be careful that they can replicate somebody popping off on this map once again.
Yeah, it is scary, but just in terms of the aim, the fact is that Fresh Off the Boat has performed really, really well on the aim. They've won the free mod 1 both times it's been played, and that, I would say, is the most similar map in the pool to the Hidden 1, especially given that players do have to play, some players do have to play Hidden regardless, so I'd say this one definitely still in their favor, but not a guarantee at all.
Definitely not. Let's see how it goes this time around. Wouldn't be surprised to see similar rosters for both teams. Maybe some swaps for kotomiler. They did lose this one last time, but honestly, I think the rosters for both of these squads look very good compared to the overall team. Malashevsky, Kriller, Nahus, worst HR player in the exact same roster once again for kotomiler. Rectigon, Decayton, Flying Tuna, Taquito in once again for Fresh Off the Boat. So exact same roster for both teams here. I haven't talked about the map too much. We've been talking about the teams and the scores and the expectations for this map, but let's talk about that for a second. This map is full of patterning, whereas the free mod 1, you saw a lot of wide angle jumps and awkward aim. You get some of that in this map as well, but a lot of linear aim, a lot of pattern focused PI time aim as well, some big circle aim patterns, and some linear cross over themselves perfect stack overlap jumps. I don't know how to describe those patterns. Regardless, though, a couple of early breaks here. Worst HR player finding the early drop. Nahus and Taquito and Decaton all breaking a little earlier than that as well. Slight score lead here for Fresh Off the Boat with Rectagon Flying Tuna. Both still full comboing, but that's a three-way reset for Fresh Off the Boat on the washing machine pattern. Worst HR player, Nahus, matching it, but that's 2 FCs for Malashevsky and Kriller versus just the reverse choke right now for Decaton on a good recovery combo, but no backing scores from anyone here for Decaton on Fresh Off the Boat. Malashevsky and Kriller hitting that big washing machine one-shot pattern is the difference maker here after the first KI time. And now going into another relatively easy section in comparison to those choruses. Those KI times, still the most difficult part is now we get into the second KI time. Combo lead now, and big way there. Drop for Decaton going into it. Kriller will trade it, but it's Malashevsky still holding on here. Flying Tuna, Taquito, Rectagon, all still holding some combo, but matched by Nahus, worst HR player. And this is a big score lead, 250k almost now for kotomiler, and still going in their way. The last set of pattern name here at the end of the second KI time, everybody hitting it. So score lead, combo lead still in favor of kotomiler going into the breakdown in the last KI time.
Yeah, as long as Malachevsky holds on, there is just nothing Fresh Off the Boat can do but watch. It's getting tough. You're seeing Malachevsky shake a little bit, but he's still holding on. That's all that counts. It doesn't matter where you hit the circle so long as you hear that click. And he's here at 99.42% accuracy to carry him through this map. We're about to get to another KI. 1-2 map's not going to provide any trouble at all. Nahus finds a break. It's traded by Decaton. Malashevsky finally goes down. The 400k lead. It's a lot for Fresh Off the Boat to make up in this last KI.
Yeah, and with Decaton finding another couple of misses here near the end. Kriller and worst HR player holding. I don't think there's nearly enough time for this combo lead to do anything here. Rectagon and worst HR player will trade, but a trade is just fine for kotomiler with that big combo and score lead. Not quite 300k now as Flying Tuna and Taquito continue to combo this ending. Malashevsky also having broken right at the start of the ending pattern, still comboing as well. But it's all for naught, unfortunately, for Fresh Off the Boat. This is very dense here at the end. Taquito will find a break on the very ending patterns, but that 300k score lead is enough of a buffer. It's down to 100k by the end, but that's still a break point for kotomiler. Flying Tuna doing his damnedest, 680k now. Unfortunately, not enough, as Malashevsky with 760k, Kriller with 600k, worst HR player with 560k, all putting up very good scores. Flying Tuna, Taquito matching some of that with the 600ks, but just not enough overall. And now, suddenly, the shoe's on the other foot. kotomiler ahead with a breakpoint in the bracket reset.
It's huge for kotomiler. They're at match point, and not only that, but it is their pick next. Their decision of where to go, which is so huge. It's No Mod 1, No Mod 4, Hard Rock 1, Hard Rock 3, and DT3 left. I imagine it's going to be either No Mod 4 or DT3. Actually, Hard Rock 3 to be a really, really good pick in the same vein as No Mod 4. Doubt that kotomiler goes into No Mod 1 or Hard Rock 1, even though they just won on AIM. It is still far too risky to take that gamble. It's going to be the DT3 fall semester song. They took Fresh Off the Boat to a bracket reset in the first place with this map. 289.5 BPM, AR 10.5 speed. Little bit of aim as well. This map so tough to overcome.
Yeah, they've been dancing around it, both teams, this entire match. The DT4, a loss for kotomiler, Fresh Off the Boat winning that pick. And then, of course, DT1, one of the breakpoints now for kotomiler, Fresh Off the Boat, losing their own pick on that map and getting the breakpoint stolen right back on that one. So both of these teams have a win on a DT map. It's, of course, 2 DT bans for kotomiler, but this map is different from either the DT2 or the Fremod 2, and honestly a bit more different from the DT4 than the DT1. I would say those are the two closest maps to each other in the pool, as DT3, it has quite a significant aim component. It's definitely still more of a speed map. The longer 9-note, 13-note, 290 BPM bursts in this map are really what a lot of players are going to be breaking on. And that's what we saw in the first round of Grand Finals as well, was that players really didn't struggle with the aim quite as much as they struggled with those 290 BPM bursts. So it's all up to these players to see who has the speed for this map. Fresh off the boat, they need a win here. They need to take back a break point. These players on Fresh Off the Boat, they are just coming off of Grand Finals last weekend in Perennial, at least for Hydrogen Bomb, Caleb, Decaton, Taquito, Window Life. Those 5 players on a team for Perennial last weekend, where they lost to a team with Worst HR player on it. So a bit of deja vu here if they get bracket reset and then lose in bracket reset afterwards to last weekend for these players. They really want to avoid replicating what happened last weekend as much as possible. These 5 players hungry for victory after a couple of close finishes recently as a team together. Here we are. Taquito, Flying Tuna, Hydrogen Bomb, and Window Life in for Fresh Off the Boat. Matthew, Tomas Cheek, Intercamping, Nineric in for kotomiler to try and close it out on tournament point.
Yeah, Flying Tuna, early break. Not going to matter too much, but Taquito breaking, that's going to matter a little bit more. So of course, you don't want to drop the accuracy that early. When you're about to go into a slow section, that accuracy is going to be able to build up a little bit, not just for yourself, but for the opponent team, which is much more critical here, as they don't have those breaks. If they're able to build up that lead, you need to see a red name flash even redder. They are going to see it. Tomas Sheik going to go down, even it up a little bit, but still a combo disadvantage for Fresh Off the Boat.
Yeah, they need another one of those FCs to drop here, likely on one of these bigger, longer bursts. Intercamping actually dropping on one of the aim patterns. Taquito will find the trade. Matthew also dropping their Flying Tuna trading as well. So it's 2 traded combos here, but that's beneficial for Fresh Off the Boat. No longer, as Reckion also finding the drop. Taquito dropping once again. It's Window Life and Nineric holding the FCs once again on this map. Deja vu as the last pick. The last time this was picked as well. Those 2 players were the ones with the biggest combos in the lobby earlier on. But Tomas Sheik with the support here for kotomiler. Intercamping with a little bit better support as well for kotomiler. And Fresh Off the Boat just need Nineric to break. As long as he holds, you can expect him to pop off. He was the top scorer. He almost found the FC. Window Life did find the FC, in fact, on this map. But you have to expect him to replicate that score in a big way once again for kotomiler. 99 AC for Nineric on this pick. Par for the course for one of the best speed players in the world, as everyone in this lobby continuing to combo through this section is now a 200,000 score lead for kotomiler. There goes Intercamping. That's one of the big combos gone for kotomiler. Tomas Sheik and Matthew still on the support here, and the score lead starting to go back the way of Fresh Off the Boat, but only a quarter of the map left. It's down to 170k now. How long can this entire roster hold on for Fresh Off the Boat? There's only so many objects left in the map. Is it going to be enough here at the very end?
Well, you know what? It's a speed map. It's the most dense a map is the most dense map in the tournament. Intercamping to go down once again, but it's traded by Flying Tuna. Absolutely not something Fresh Off the Boat can afford at this point. They need to see another break from kotomiler, but Taquito is going to be the one to go down. Window Life, you can FC all you want, but you need your team with you, and unfortunately, they're just not there. The lead goes back to the side of kotomiler. Nineric, he closes out the FC he failed to get last time, matches Window Life in combo, and that supporting score for kotomiler is going to make them the Resurrection Cup 2024 champions.
They've done it. Tournament pick after 2 breakpoints in a row, and they capitalized. The DT3 once again working out for them, this time with the full combo secured by Nineric. 99 AC on the DT3, 290 BPM bursts and streams, by the way, at OD 10.4? Absolutely ridiculous. OD 10.1, excuse me. Absolutely ridiculous accuracy for Nineric on that, gapping the rest of the lobby. Window Life with 2 FCs in a row, I'll add, on that map. It was a ridiculously solid showing from both of these teams here, but fresh off the boat, unfortunately, the winner's bracket advantage here in Grand Finals, all for naught. Kotomiler, they come up from loser's bracket. They 7-0 the loser's bracket Grand Finals. They 7-3 the first bout of Grand Finals, and they secure 2 break points in a row, plus their own last pick to close it out 7-4 here in the bracket reset and crown themselves champions of Resurrection Cup 2024. As you said, Taikani, a solid feat, a very good match between these two teams. But Kotomiler ultimately going to come out on top. It's how all matches have to end. There's always a winner and a loser. There's always a victor at the end of every match. Unfortunately for the team that loses, fresh off the boat again, sharing 5 members with a team that just last weekend lost in Grand Finals bracket reset of the Perennial. So an unfortunate back-to-back tournament second place finishes for 5 of these members on fresh off the boat, but still very well fought and still a very good tournament overall for them.
Yeah, and now I'm happy to say it. We get to see a tiebreaker showcase the original song by N-Dog featuring QZ, Delusions. What an amazing Grand Finals tiebreaker. Of course, beat mapped by 9 Ami and O Twinkle. I think at this point, they're the new guys you call for Grand Final tiebreaker, and it makes sense. They can always pump out a wonderful tech map. Of course, doesn't count for anything. The winner's already been decided, but you know what? Might as well have some fun on an amazing original song made exclusively for Resurrection Cup.
Banger song, and of course this map also very, very solid. I got to take a look at this before the match started, and really looking forward to seeing this get played here. Big shout out to N-Dog and QZ for the song and the vocal respectively.
Yeah, background by Yumeo as well. Do want to note that the creator of Resurrection Cup's main character, Serenity, and now get to see that same creator put Serenity in the Grand Finals tiebreaker background, sort of full circle. Other credits for this are hit sounds by O Twinkle and a storyboard, which unfortunately we cannot feature because I believe it's actually not finished, by Ningguang, who I believe did the storyboard for last year's Grand Finals tiebreaker, the Enormous, as well. So, love the Resurrection Cup staff who all came together to not just make this tiebreaker work, but to make every original song work. We had so many Resurrection Cup originals, and what a way to end it off with this tiebreaker.
Yeah, how many originals were there this year? Unfortunately, with running my own tournament at the same time, I didn't have a lot of time to follow along with Resurrection Cup. So big thanks, of course, to Friel and Hoekyu for having me on for the Grand Finals cast here. I was sick and at a wedding last weekend, so didn't even get to cast Grand Finals in the Perennial in my own tournament. So big thanks to them for having me on here. Wait, we've got Hard Rock for Rectagon on this map. Let's see how well that goes for him.
It's going. Yeah, I think there's 26 Resurrection Cup originals, including every single round's tiebreaker. So a lot of work went into this from the Resurrection Cup sound team. Unfortunately, we couldn't see every song played in match. Of course, there were some early tiebreakers that didn't get played in match. Semifinals tiebreaker got played, but not on stream. And of course, we saw, unfortunately, only this tiebreaker and the Hard Rock 2 are the Grand Finals originals that got played on stream. As Nomad 1 and Fremont 2 were not played. Either way, though, shout outs, all the love to the Resurrection Cup sound team. Everything is on SoundCloud, ready for you to listen to. I believe there should be streaming distribution in the future as well, for nearly every Resurrection Cup song. Shoutouts to Malashevsky and Window Life and Taquito as well. Like, all scores above 100,000. This map is tough.
Yeah, this is a very, very tough map for sure. You're looking at a couple of, you're looking at a 50k, a 30k from Rectagon, a couple of 80ks as well. So definitely a very tough map. I was just counting up originals from the OS World Cup 2023, and there were exactly 20 OS originals released with the OS World Cup 2023. So congrats to Res Cup for having more original songs in this iteration than the OS World Cup did in 2023. Massive amount of original songs. So big shout outs to the sound team here and to all of the producers and musicians who worked with Res Cup staff on making that possible. It's a huge feat.
It really is. Man, there was so much work that went into this iteration. I remember precisely like 1 or 2 weeks after the conclusion of Resurrection Cup 2023, I had Friel saying, "Oh, we're going with a ton of original songs this year. We're putting so much work in." It's like, dude, the tournament just ended. You can chill for a month. That's fine, man. And I'm sure the same thing will be happening with 2025. I'm expecting my DM in 2 weeks' time. If not, I'm gonna be worried.
All right, coming into the final drop of the map here. Best part of the song, in my opinion.
True. Dude, I was actually in the break before the bracket reset. I was actually listening to both the 2023 and 2024 tiebreaker songs, just as I was grabbing food. And man, this is such a jam to listen to. Just in the gas station, blasting this in my buds. What N-Dog really made a really good song. I've always been a big fan of N-Dog. I have been really hoping to see an N-Dog original song for an OC tournament, and so happy to see it. Of course, QZ's vocals are just incredible as well. Man, I love this part of the song specifically. It's so good.
Yeah, here's that final drop I was talking about.
Yo, Malashevsky, by the way, what is he doing?
Hey, Malashevsky things.
Okay, that makes sense.
Optional hidden, 380k, no sweat. And maybe a little unfortunate there for Fresh off the boat. Obviously, Rectagon, I think, in an actual tiebreaker scenario, probably would have taken the no mod, would have had a very good score on this as well. But
yeah, I mean, what a good match from these teams. I really do wish we could see the tiebreaker in its truest form, but either way, man, what a match this was. Malashevsky nearly getting 400k on a showcase tiebreaker is mental. All these players played so well. Congratulations to kotomiler again for the Resurrection Cup Championship, making their way back after a tiebreaker loss in the finals. It's a huge accomplishment, honestly. Not only just to win, but also to make it look like it was nowhere near as close as it was in the finals round. They showed up to play, and play they did.
So congratulations once again to kotomiler for the win here. They take first place in Resurrection Cup 2024. They win the tournament, and they are going to be your champions this year. Of course, shoutouts as well to the second and third place teams. Fresh off the boat, of course, in second place with an unfortunate loss there in the bracket reset. They did have that winner's bracket advantage going into grand finals, but kotomiler taking 2 best of 13s in a row here to win the tournament. And then, of course, the third place team as well. Bobic, congratulations to them for making the podium in this tournament.
Yeah, man, what a good tournament it was, and there is such a huge team behind this. Of course, our wonderful host, Friel, who has led the entirety of Res Cup 2024, and very strongly at that. Coming off of 2023, which had kind of an unfortunate end, Friel had such a dedicated vision for this tournament, and he was able to really push it all the way. This tournament was so incredible. I'm going to stop talking. I shoutouts prepared, but you know what? I'll let Friel, who forgot to turn his join sound off, finish the rest.
Oh, oops. Well, that kind of was anticlimactic. I apologize for that. But as closing words, hello everyone. I want to thank first of all the Maple Quality Assurance team. So Sky, Averia, and Mimi have been working absolutely crazy with all the custom maps, and basically every single map that you have seen was under the proper care under Sky, Mimi, and Averia. And I want to specifically thank also me for the whole Resurrection Cup design, as what you see right now, basically the background and every single logo and artwork that surrounds Serenity is just all just also me. So big shout outs to him, and also a huge thanks to Krymek and Zyris for also making sure that each custom song was a fit for the map pools. Because honestly, this year-round project would not have been a reality if it wasn't for every single individual in the organizer team. So yes, thank you very much for supporting us this iteration. There has been a lot of positives and a few ups and downs, you know. But overall, I personally am incredibly satisfied with everyone's work, and incredibly satisfied with what I've seen through this 1.5 months. So thank you everyone, all viewers, all participants, all mappers, all composers, all commentators, all streamers, and of course the developers and referees. I think that's about all I had to say.
Yeah.
Once again, massive shoutouts to the huge team behind Resurrection Cup, and of course to the hosts as well, Friel, especially for organizing everything. That is going to do it for the grand finals, and that'll do it for Resurrection Cup 2024.
Yeah, it's been an honor casting this grand finals with you, Dio. It's been an honor working on this tournament, and I am so excited to see what is in the store in the future. Thank you all so much for watching. Should everything go well, we'll see you in 2025.